Admirable run by Marion Barber to save 2 points.
A one-handed leaping catch by Brandon Lloyd. This is one of the best catches you'll ever see, ever. Still has it. Throws into the end zone. It's intercepted by Ed Reed. He gets away from Cobb, and he is still going down the sideline. Brent Selleck trying to cut him off. Reed needs one more block. He goes all the way. Touchdown.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Sensibly Loud Media football stream. It's NFL Sunday. You got me and Kyle Beats. We are watching the Saints-Rams game. Kyle, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? Glad to be here. Glad to be back doing the second stream. I have a feeling we're not going to get 13 total points in this game as we did in the Bears-Packers the first time we tried this. So I think this game will have a little more firepower. I'm
hoping so, man. I'm really hoping so.
So it's 3-0 now. I mean, we're probably going to be because I know we're streaming it, so we're trying to make sure we were synced up. So we paused for a little bit. We may be maybe 30 seconds to a minute on the play clock behind. So we just got the field goal from the Rams, which that 3rd and 5 play call, I don't know about throwing the screen out there. I like throwing it in the end zone, but I'm not going to question McVay.
True. What do you think of that intro music, man? Did that get you fired up to listen?
Dude, it got me fired up. You know what I was thinking is the perfect soundbite for if we could find that would be the Marshawn Lynch, hold my dick run against the against the Saints. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, a pick six for Ed Reed I felt was pretty solid though. So.
Pretty good. I mean, Ed Reed's like from a DB standpoint, that's like my favorite DB in the probably ever.
Yeah, man. You know who I can't?
I
saw this. I was watching the Cardinals game earlier. Speaking of that kind of class of dude, I can't believe that Terrell Suggs is still around.
Yeah, where is he at this year? Because he got
plays for the Cardinals now.
Cut from Baltimore, I guess would be, or just released. Yeah, Cardinals. That's right. I mean, it's a bad dude, man. It's still 6'4", 270, but he's more of that like old school type of player though, right? Like kind of like an 80s or 90s linebacker. Even though he's a great pass rusher, I guess in his prime, he's not like a Von Miller or Jadeveon Clowney or some player like that, or Khalil Mack type of player off the edge.
That's true.
Never was, even at his peak, didn't have that kind of speed.
No, but it's allowed him to like hold up really well, which is nice.
Probably top 5 of last players I'd want to fight in the NFL. Terrell Suggs is definitely somewhere in that top 5.
It's just crazy that he's still guarding around. I mean, I like T-Sizzle a lot, man.
I did
happy
too
for him. I don't know. I do feel a little bit bad for him having to play for that god awful Cardinals team. I mean,
they were competitive today against Baltimore. Ironically, I didn't even think about that. He probably got an intro, coming into the stadium there. I would think would get some love. I don't know. Baltimore's a pretty tough city, but
yeah, Lamar Jackson just ate their lunch though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that game ended up being pretty close. It was 17-23 for a minute there. Got into a tough 3rd and 16. Kyler tried to make a play, it just didn't work out. They punted, and that was that. That was a hell of a ball if you saw from Lamar Jackson to close that out. It was 3rd and 11, and they're only up 6 at this point, and he just throws like 50-yard fade down the sideline, which is a very low percentage pass.
Yeah. And
Hollywood Brown catches it, and it's kind of just showing you. I mean, I think a lot of people doubted Hollywood Brown because of the injury, being in a beneficiary of OU system and being an extremely small guy. And then obviously so many people doubt Lamar. It's like, this is a new NFL. Like, it can be done different ways now.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing to remember. And everybody keeps shitting on Cliff Kingsbury, and like I'm not ready to do that yet, man. Yeah, it definitely sucks. I'm just not ready to do that.
Both games, like they tied, and then they went into a tough stadium, played a good Baltimore team, and were within one possession with a minute or 2 left. I mean,
that's what I'm saying, man. Like, I'm not. I don't know, man. So we've talked about this a ton. I think we even talked about it maybe last live stream we did, but I know that Cliff Kingsbury was a little bit overrated to get the Tech job just because of Johnny Manziel.
Right.
But they threw a lot at him, man. They did. And like I realize the NFL is a much bigger stage and all that, but it really is almost less to worry about in so many ways than college football. Right?
There's more expectations, but college is harder just because you're trying to maintain 19, 20, 21-year-olds from not getting in their own way. You're trying to keep them psychologically invested if your team's
Correct.
not doing well, where it's like, these are professional athletes that are getting paid to do this. This is their livelihood. You don't got to convince these guys to show up.
Correct. And I think so there's that, and then the recruiting trail thing where you don't have to worry about that when you can really just focus, and then you've got he
level playing field. He doesn't have to. I mean, he was Texas Tech is probably the football wise the 4th or 5th most important school in Texas,
something like that.
As far as quality, definitely below Texas and A&M for sure. Like, you're already losing recruits there. You're kind of in that TCU Baylor tier, so you're already giving up. Yeah, and I mean, you come to the NFL where it's supposedly supposed to be more level playing field. Obviously, you can't help what the GM has put in front of you, which is a terrible offensive line for Kyler Murray. But I think he'll get it right if they're patient with him. He doesn't need to be a defensive mastermind. You can hire that in the NFL.
Right.
Quick, I will say Michael Thomas's route running is absolutely insane.
It's insane. It's absurd, dude. He's absolutely dead
for how big he is to be able to run routes like Antonio Brown.
It's pretty wild. They but yeah, I agree, and I mean, they fired Steve Wilkes after a year, so I mean, you got to think that they found their guy, they found the quarterback of the future, or what they deem to be, what they think is going to be the quarterback of the future, which I'm fine with.
Right.
And I mean, you made that commitment no matter what. So I mean, at this point now, it's really just fixing that O-line, which is going to take a little while, but I think they're going to be willing to be patient with it if it's showing some progress.
I think so too. I mean, they could really kind of fix it going into next year if they just use a first-round draft pick on somebody that they think can maybe start off at right tackle but eventually be a left tackle for him, and then go, sign a middle tier to high tier free agent on the offensive line, just bring in 2 new guys. I mean, you're 40% right there, and just try to kind of hodgepodge it together until it's something that can protect Murray.
Exactly. And I mean,
it doesn't have to be the Cowboys line.
No, but in the meantime, let the guy work on just getting the fundamentals down. And I think that's kind of what they're doing. And I mean, Cliff's kind of getting those feet under him too. I mean, he's a first-year head coach in a tough division, all that. I mean, there are a lot of things that just scream, just fucking be patient. It may not work, but just be patient. We'll see what happens, kind of thing.
Yeah, you got to be patient. So Saints just had to punt. They picked up the first down pretty easily. Looked like they were going to move the ball, and I think they got to the 50 or just the other side of the 50, and just third down, throw to Jared Cook over the middle, and Drew Brees and him clearly just aren't on the same page yet. It's game 2, and this is kind of like typical Saints. I feel like every season they start off slow. Even a lot of games they start off slow. So it's looked pretty ugly here and sloppy at the beginning. No concerns. It's 3-0. It's Drew Brees.
Yeah, dude. I think that there's a team in the NFL that I trust outside the Patriots to I mean, the Patriots wouldn't be in any kind of hole to begin with, but if
God almighty, that's not.
We'll get there in a minute.
That is not true.
We'll get there in a minute. But I aside from the Patriots, I would say that it's probably the Saints to pull out of that hole the most consistently, I would say.
Yeah, Chiefs, we'll see. They're down 10-0 in Oakland today in the first quarter, so we'll see if Mahomes is who I said on the pod, I think he's the best player in the NFL. You were saying maybe talent-wise, but hold your horses was kind of the way you approach that.
Right. Let's just see what happens. Let's just I let you look at the numbers.
If Pat Mahomes is not the best player in the NFL, and this can include defensive players, who's the best player in the NFL to you? Is it still Tom Brady? I mean, really? I love Tom. I just don't think he's the best player right now.
I mean,
a lot of that is scheme, and I mean, the dude does have Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean,
he's not throwing the bums out there. This isn't this isn't a Deion Branch, Jabbar Gaffney type of receiving core. That was prime Tom making those dudes good.
Yeah, what a couple of callback names.
I'm just saying they wouldn't have won 43-0 if those were the receivers today.
I agree. I'm with you, man. I actually looked at the numbers and of the last just back to back on week 1 of Brady versus Mahomes, and Mahomes' numbers were a lot better. But I mean, to me, I guess this is the problem I end up having, dude.
Oh,
boy.
Drew on the finger. Good, man.
Yeah, he did.
We're probably, like I said, guys, sorry, a minute or 2 behind. That was a thumper. Yeah,
it was. That's not
Could
great.
be broken, could be really swollen.
Yeah.
I mean, just getting a jam, where it's incredibly sprained and swollen, that's on his throwing hand. That's the issue.
Yeah.
We're going to see – does that mean we're going to see more of my boy Taysom?
Very possible.
Dude, did you hear he beat Alva Kamara in a race? They raced 50 yards and he beat him.
Dude, yeah, that was all over Twitter when it happened. That's ridiculous.
Insane. Or was it maybe it was a 40-yard dash? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's insane.
It really is.
The difference there is Alva Kamara's I'm going to say his agility to stop and go is just a hair better.
Yeah, he's kind of a downhill kind of guy.
Yeah, and I mean he can cut and maintain speed. That's what makes him special. But going back to this best player thing, my criteria for that is who has the most talent, who's putting up the best stats, and who would I take for the next 3 to 5 years. Like those are all kind of evenly balanced.
But that's not so I'm with you. I guess my only problem is with the last one. Like, how do you you can't take Brady
then
3
take
years
that
from
out.
now.
Let's say who's the best player who's playing at the highest level right now, has the highest talent, and is putting up the best stats. I think it's Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, that's aside from
If it's not him, the other two guys, there's 2 or 3 other guys I've thrown there. It sounds crazy. I know he's on a terrible team. Dude, I text my friends today. Saquon, 3,000 miles, Zeke and Kamara. Like, he is so freaking good behind a terrible line.
Yeah.
I just think he's the best. And I would put Khalil Mack and Aaron Donald both in that conversation.
Khalil Mack is definitely within my top 2 or 3, I think. And that's where I'm kind of having the
Aaron Donald too, though, man, because like it's weird because it's not sexy. Like Khalil Mack is aesthetically he just looks more imposing. His sacks are more dirty, but like when Aaron Donald just forces that issue up the middle, like that can disrupt things from a football standpoint more than anything. It's just not as sexy.
It's not as fluid, right? Yeah, no, for sure. I'm with you. And so that's another thing that I run into, like, is that I'm a defense guy, dude. I fucking love a good defense versus a good offense. I always love a good running.
Don't watch the freaking Cowboys, man, because everyone, including me, thought that was a top 10 defense coming into this year. I think on paper it still is.
We'll get there.
But I mean, dude, we gave up 500 yards to the Giants, and I didn't see the numbers today, but we gave up way too many easy scores.
Yeah, we'll get into that game here in a few minutes because I want to talk more with you about that. But I'm way more defensively minded, so it makes me love a guy like Khalil Mack that much more. Even though, I mean, if you look at like him versus Mahomes, I mean, I think the obvious would probably be Mahomes just because he can do so much more. But like, I don't know. I guess I've watched football for so long that doesn't impress me as much as anything else. So, I mean, I'm with you, dude. I think, like, honestly, in that camp is really the top 3 right there is like Pat Mahomes, Khalil Mack, and probably Aaron Donald, something like that. But like, I don't know.
Right on cue, Mahomes throws a touchdown to make it 10-7.
Naturally.
And they keep cutting to Breeze, and he looks pretty nervous about that hand.
Yeah, I bet you he goes back in here in a little while.
Oh, he's going to go back in and test it out, but don't think that the Saints defensive coordinators have not noticed that. And I'm not saying it's going to be Bounty Gate or anything, but they're not going to be shying away from the hand for sure.
Jesus, dude. Yeah, we're gonna have to get into Greg Williams talk. Speaking of Bounty Gate here,
God Almighty, that was who said he coached dirty, and Odell. He lost it a little bit in that interview. Who was it?
Odell
said it, yeah, and he kind of lost. I thought I mean, I understand you're being, criticized, but it's kind of fair, dude. Like, we heard the tape, man. Like,
I'll say this though, man. Like, I can't stand Greg Williams. I think he's an asshole to the highest order.
Agreed.
I think, dude, he is somebody that
inexplicably,
great sack, has inexplicably stayed around in this league for far longer than necessary. And I also, like, to me, when I look at Greg Williams, I think Jeff Fisher. When I think Jeff Fisher, I think 7 and 9 every time. No doubt about
that's true. That's the best way to put it.
And like him and Sean Payton,
it's like unless he has Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, and Isaac Bruce, this guy's not doing anything.
Right. So whenever he was his last year in New Orleans, I think it was like 2012. So like, and that was when the whole Bounty Gate happened. So like, for those that aren't too familiar, he basically created a slush fund and was giving it to players for, specific hits on the quarterback, and basically
my boy Favre.
Yeah, basically incentivizing players for dirty play.
Not to make big hits, to injure players.
Right.
There's a difference between, hey, let someone know you're there and pop this guy legally versus, try to hit this guy in his knee or, try to injure him and take him out of the game.
Remember all the quotes that came out of him talking about it? And he was just like, I don't want people's heads back. I want heads off.
It's like, dude, you cannot defend what you. I was like, oh man, when this tape comes out, it's gonna be terrible.
Yeah.
And it was 10 times worse than I thought it would actually be. I'm like, holy shit.
And remember, this was pre like Ray Rice and all that, so that was pretty shocking for the time. And
it would be handled a lot differently now. I
definitely agreed. And so he was already gone from the Saints after that, but Sean Payton got a year suspension for that. And I don't think that Sean Payton had a whole lot to do with it. I can't tell you for certain. I think he probably knew, but like, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But regardless, Greg Williams has got a track record in this league. He's been with the Browns for a couple of years. Where's he? He's with the Jets now. And he was with the Browns last year. He was actually the interim head coach last year after Hugh Jackson finally got fired.
I think he's the DC on the Jets.
Correct. And he was the DC there too. And then he was really pissed off that they didn't give him. So he was the defensive coordinator for the Browns, and then Freddie Kitchens was the offensive coordinator. They gave it to Freddie Kitchens, and that's a hire that Jason.
Pick your poison,
dude. Jason will defend that hire all day long. That's a bad hire. I'm just telling you.
Well, they're going to play the Jets this weekend, so we'll learn.
So we're going to find out.
If you lose to the Jets without Sam Darnold, you're going to win like 4 games this year, and they look like a team that was going to win 4 games in week 1. I have so much faith in Baker bouncing back. He won't play that bad because he had, 3 picks in that game, and it probably could have been 7 based on what I saw. I mean, he had balls bounce off the defender's hands.
He looked horrible.
Real quick, going back to the game we're watching, though, with that sack by Cam Jordan.
Yep.
I feel like because, dude, Cam Jordan has been the model for consistency for like 10 years now.
Yes.
I feel like he's one of the most underrated defensive players in the league. And defensive players just don't get enough love in the NFL, period. Unless it's somebody loud like Jalen Ramsey, who, DeAndre Hopkins kind of had his way with you, even though there wasn't a lot. The numbers didn't show it today. He was open a lot. Guys like Cam Jordan go under the radar because they just kind of handle their business. That dude's double-digit sacks every year.
We talked about this. It's not sexy. It's not.
Drives me crazy, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you won't see that kind of disrespect on this podcast or on our podcast. I'll tell you that.
Right. Right. And like as a Cowboys fan, everybody's in love with our linebackers. They're in love with obviously the offense, but like DeMarcus Lawrence and that front line the front 4 is actually really good, and they have like 7 dudes they can rotate. Oh, we got Teddy in.
Okay, Teddy Bridgewater. All right, we'll talk about the Cowboys thing in a second. So anyway, this Greg Williams thing. So Odell comes out this week and is basically like calling him soft and just basically like, oh well, he's kind of a dirty coach, and that's he's earned that label, I would say for sure. I will say this though, I wouldn't piss off Greg Williams right before I play him.
Yeah, when you're dealing with a hip issue, it's like, I own Odell in 4/5 of my league, so I'm a little concerned about his health. The good thing is I can't name any defensive players besides C.J. Mosley on the Jets, so I don't know if any of these guys are actually good enough to catch Odell and hurt him. But
and the thing is, like, Todd Bowles got fired last year, and like he was a defensive mind, so I think that's something that they've worked on. I mean, it's the Jets, so I'm still not concerned about it. But
sure.
I don't know. I still just wouldn't piss that guy off before going in after you just got your ass handed to you in week 1, and you created a whole controversy for yourself by wearing a watch for no reason whatsoever. I just think you shut up and fucking play ball, and this doesn't help that.
Yeah, just from like a fundamental standpoint, don't stir the pot and piss off a confirmed psychopath that you're running into pretty soon. I think that just goes without saying in most things in life.
That you personally know, because it's not like like that's just so...
You're telling me this. You're telling us that this is what this dude does.
That's what I'm saying, and it just.
Hey, can I venture back real quickly just for a point that I want to give you a hot take from the Baltimore-Arizona game.
Okay.
I think I'd take Lamar Jackson over Dak.
Ooh, okay. Let's talk Dak when we get to the Cowboys, because I've got some questions for you on this after the week 2 results. So anyway, so I thought that was a ridiculous thing, dude. Overall, they're going to be on Monday Night Football, though. That should be a good one to watch. Should be a lot of fun, I guess. I
wanted Sam Darnold to be in that game, of course, but hopefully everything gets right for him. It's kind of a weird situation.
Well, that Thursday night game was a stinker, wasn't it?
God. Honestly, I turned it off at halftime and was just like trying to hang out with my fiance and just watch, kind of look at it, Gamecast every once in a while, because it was almost intolerable.
It's one of those spots where it's a terrible game, so you can turn it off while football's still on and still look like a good fiance.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm choosing you over football.
You know what? The game doesn't even matter tonight, baby.
Exactly.
Because Jameis Winston is involved.
Dude, yeah, but I mean, Cam, 1, is not right. 2, there's almost no chance he plays past this year.
No. Well, for his career?
Dude, I
don't think his career's over. I think if he doesn't, if they don't shut him down this year, it could be. Yeah. And he's the type of guy that I think he loves football and he's a tough guy and he's going to keep playing. But it's like there's a difference between being tough and being smart, man. Like at a certain point, you got to shut it down. And I don't know if he knows how to flip that switch.
I don't know that it's in his hands anymore, and that's the sad part, man. Because he seemed
Riverboat Ron's just going to run him down.
Like him as a coach either. People.
Oh, dude! His time management is horrible.
It's horrific.
Yeah, I mean, I've just never been a Riverboat Ron kind of guy. I do think they could do Cam some favors by, as we talked about at the beginning of the season, not having 2 5'11" receivers be their main receivers, even though I like both those guys, and Samuel and Moore. I think CMC is going to be struggling too. Oh, yeah, we lost you.
Sorry about that, guys. Had a few mic issues there.
Some technical errors that I was unaware of and I was really just talking to myself right there, I think, for a little while.
Worked out all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So where were we?
So we're done with Greg Williams. I wanted to go on to the Lamar Jackson versus Dak conversation, but
well, let's talk about the Cowboys today. What'd you think overall?
Started out way too slow. Figured that would probably happen though. You're traveling, playing tough division game.
Yep.
Redskins are not a good roster, but they're a pretty solid defense and they play hard.
Correct.
And that's the thing I noticed all day is this team just plays hard. Still really a few things. Good. The pros or what I saw out of that is we kept feeding Zeke. Zeke looks like he's kind of coming back into his zone. He looks very healthy, which I'm excited about. Mm-hmm. All the receivers are stepping up for Dak. Dak looked pretty good today. The play calling was fantastic. Dak made some more throws today that just weren't good throws. Like that pick was not a good throw. Like there's just some things he has to get right. But overall, he did a lot more things right than he did things wrong.
What the fuck is happening on the screen?
I don't know.
Now?
That guy just ran backwards. And they got another penalty. They're about to be on like 3rd and 50 right here.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, sorry.
So mostly pros. The cons from today, though, is once again the defense gave up way too many yards. I'm going to get us the team stats from there to see exactly how many yards they gave up. But we gave up 500 last week to the Giants, and I'm assuming we gave up over 400 from what I saw today. And it was just like these easy scores for the Redskins, and it's like, okay, if Case Keenum and some receiver I've never heard of that's an undrafted free agent are doing this to us, what is Drew Brees going to do to us? What is Aaron Rodgers going to do to us? So still a lot of questions on the defensive end. Overall, though, I'm never going to be unhappy with the touchdown plus win. Yeah. And I told you on the pod that was my confidence play of the week. At 4.5, it moved to 6. I mean, I knew they were going to win that game by a touchdown.
Dude, was it okay? I want to make sure I have this correct before I say before I talk about your worst take of all time. Did you really tell me that Dak is worse than Case Keenum? Did you tell me you'd take Case Keenum over Dak?
I did say that.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was him or Kirk Cousins.
All I'm saying is if you look at their stats through 2 games, they're not that much different. And Dak has literally a better play caller, a better offensive line, a better running back, a better receiver 1, a better receiver 2, a better receiver 3, a better receiver 4, a better tight end.
And Case Keenum has failed almost exclusively on every stop he's been at. So, like, he's tried different things. And I get that he's never had a team built around him. So I'm fine with that. But I just...
Right.
Dude, the amount of disrespect. Did you see Teddy Bridgewater just throw that ball away? That was ugly.
That was not good.
The amount of disrespect you showed Dak is crazy to me. Like,
it's not disrespect, dude.
It
like
is disrespect, dude. To say that Kirk Cousins and Case Keenum is better than him is crazy.
Okay, Case Keenum's I was emotional.
Okay, that's fair. At least
Kirk
you own
Cousins is not crazy though.
Yes, it is.
Dude, Dak, did you see the interception he threw today? He can't hit dudes in stride sometimes. And people will say, well, he's 26 out of 30 today.
Yeah.
Okay, but he got put in situations where he's dropping balls. He's not making these tough passes. People watch it.
But what's your expectation for Dak whenever he's pulling out touchdown wins? I mean,
No, you're right. That's why I'm not upset with the result. I'm just and if he's going to play like he's played through these 2 games, make him the highest paid quarterback in the league. That's fine.
Sure.
But I'm just saying if you swap him and Kirk Cousins, I still think the Cowboys are 2-0, and I think the Vikings are probably 0-2. Well, I guess they could have beat Atlanta last year. I don't see a difference between Dak and Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins doesn't even make $30 million a year.
I feel like that's crazy town, dude.
Dak's legs is the argument. I mean, that was a big play that he made today,
yeah.
with his legs. But
he's a smart player. He's disciplined, and so is Kirk Cousins.
He's a great leader. He has all the intangibles, but
just not in a million.
Lamar Jackson take.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that. I mean, so let's preface this with saying that the Ravens are very specifically built around Lamar Jackson's type of game while he grows a different part of his game, right? Is that fair?
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, he's passing much better than he did last year right now.
Yes.
And would you still take him over Dak?
100%. You're talking about Ezekiel Elliott versus Mark Ingram. You're talking about above average line versus top 3 line. You're talking about rookies versus Amari Cooper, who's a certified stud. I mean, I don't.
But Lamar Jackson's putting it in those rookies' hands, and it's making it work. So, like, I guess that's where your head's at.
Throws he's making, like, yeah, those guys are. I don't know. Those guys are running pretty wide open, I guess. So they are running good routes, but I mean,
is that where your head's at though?
I just think Lamar's arm talent is about the same as Dak's.
Okay,
he can throw it further. And their accuracy is about the same. Dak's not overly accurate. His percentage has been high because he's been put in good situations with easy completions, which is totally the thing the Cowboys should do with our skill positions. But Lamar's legs are such a differentiator from Dak's. And Dak's probably like a top 5 running quarterback in the league. Lamar is legitimately just like a running back.
I mean, let's take a step back here for a second and also examine the fact that you're talking about a 4th-round pick versus a Heisman winner. So,
That's true. And longevity-wise, like if you're talking about a 6-year deal or something, I'm probably taking Dak. Dude, Dak is tank. That's like the one thing you've made, pretty that you're adamant about, and I have no debates on that. I guess like it probably comes off that I don't like Dak.
It does.
I do like Dak. I just don't think he's that good. I just think he's really good for what we're trying to do. So I mean, I just want him to take 30. It just pisses me. I never really ever vocally said anything negative about Dak until he turned down the 30 and said he wanted 40. Then I was like, fuck this guy.
Do you blame him, though?
I do blame him.
Why?
Because
what would you do if you were in that
than Ezekiel Elliott getting $15 million a year? Way more unreasonable.
What would you do if you were in that exact same situation, though? What would you do? Would you take 30 if you know you could get 40?
No.
Exactly. That's the point. Like, I get what you're saying,
guess so. Is it fair to not be mad at the guy? But I don't want to make it personal and say, because I just answered the question honestly. I would do the same thing.
Sure.
But it's like it's my team, so it's like fuck that guy kind of thing.
Right. Well,
I want to build a championship team. $10 million gets you a really, really good defensive player.
Agreed. And you know where I stand on all this. Never in a million years do you pay.
This is coming from the guy who's quarterback's making like $12 million a year.
Well, and I'm saying that in a sense that, like, and we've talked about this before. If you're gonna pay, like, if that's how it's gonna be, if that's how the Cowboys are gonna do business, then you pay him. Like that. I mean, I get what you're saying, man. And $10 million. I mean, especially for a team that's, doing a lot as much as they can to scrape out cap room wherever they can. That's a whole other conversation.
And I think a part of your point too is because I like the Zeke value more than the Dak value, which I think you're on the other side of that coin.
Definitely.
But you're basically just saying pay for what fits the system, pay for what's going to win, because Dak fits the system perfectly.
Dude, I mean, I'm a big proponent of that at some point. So, like, this is a different sport, but I'll use this as an example. Like, the Red Sox are a great example of this. Like, they're fucking terrible this year. Well, I mean, relatively, I guess.
So
But, like,
expectations.
But one of those things, like, it was time to go all in last year, and they did. And you've got to go all in whenever you're going to go all in. And if you're going to make that commitment, then you're going to make that commitment. And like at the end of the day, we have this talk all the time. They're not the Patriots. They don't do business the way the Patriots do. Most teams don't.
No, but they ran better than most NFL franchises for not a high bar, but they are.
Are you telling me the Cowboys are run better than most franchises?
For sure.
Okay, let me ask you this. Are we talking football or are we talking business?
Of NFL franchises, they're definitely in the top half of the way they're being ran. Like, look at their draft picks compared to these other teams' draft picks. Like,
and look at where it's gotten them. First round exits almost every single year.
I mean, we got to the second round last year.
Okay, exit.
That's on your boy Dak.
Yeah, exactly. Exit. My point is, like, I don't.
Okay, but your bar is so high. You know how many teams haven't made the playoffs in like 5 years? Like,
that's a good point. I really need to sit down and do more research on this specific.
Dude, you will come back and say Dallas is probably a top 10 organization. Like the only ones that in my head, like Patriots, Saints. Dude, guess what? The Packers? No. I mean, if you want to say because they won one recently, sure, but they've just shat on maybe the greatest talent ever at quarterback.
Yeah, probably so.
I'll give you the Packers. So Patriots, Steelers, Packers.
The Steelers are definitely in there. The Seahawks are pretty well run.
Seahawks,
Ravens are pretty well run. I think. Let's see what else. I think the Chargers are pretty well run. As it works.
What has that got them? They've
nothing.
had more talent than us with shittier results.
Strong agree. I fucking hate the Chargers. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying.
Phillip Rivers is like, who's the NBA version of great in the regular season, not doing shit in the playoffs? Russ?
Probably.
Harden?
Yeah, Russ.
Like, that's who Phillip Rivers is.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, but I guess you can't really make the argument that they haven't tried to put.
No one even shows up to their home games because part of this. So I'm factoring in how well of a GM Steven's been over the last 7 or 8 years and how well we've picked. But like, look at what we do from a revenue standpoint. Like, Dallas is still a really well-ran organization. Because guess what? He's been able to raise the valuation of $4 billion while being
fucking mediocre
or slightly above average.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's why I asked the question. Are we talking about the business aspect or are we talking about football? Because
business, it's top 5.
We don't know specific. Well, it's probably top 2.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's hard to tell because we don't really know when Steven started making the picks versus Jerry. But Jerry was the worst fucking architect of football teams I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, from like 2004 to like 2010, it was just rough, dude.
I felt for those people. I felt for you guys. That shit was terrible. The cue card thing might have been the worst thing I've ever seen.
Dude, because, I mean, we squandered Romo's. Like, I'll remember this game. I think it was Noodle Arm Peyton Manning, Denver Broncos. Or no, it was season before Noodle Arm because it was the season he went off and, like, went for 55 TDs. We lost the game 51-48. And Romo threw a pick at the end trying to, like, save us. And everyone's like, this guy's not clutch. What the fuck's wrong with Romo? It's like, this dude just threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Maybe if Jerry didn't draft a defense, they gave up 51 points.
Yeah. And let your boy, what's his name, walk right out the door. Guy who went to Denver, Jason Hatcher? No.
Oh, yeah.
No. Popular.
Hatcher was the linebacker.
I'm talking about defensive end. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Big dude. He won a ring there. I can't think of his name. Anyway,
where did he go?
He went to Denver after the Cowboys.
Oh, D-Ware?
Yeah, DeMarcus Ware. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't put my finger on his name for some reason. Yeah, like
dude, I saw that guy in person. If you want to talk about just
a massive specimen of a human being.
Massive human being. I mean, fuck what they list somebody at. Like, when you see somebody in person, you're just like, good Lord.
Von Miller's the same way, dude.
Yeah.
He's
not as tall as you would think, though.
No.
DeMarcus Ware is legit like 6'5".
Right. But, I mean, he went out and paid all these other players and just let that guy walk out the door. Future Hall of Famer, DeMarcus Ware, I might add. It just
Yeah, but everyone thought he was washed up, and he still had a lot of good years in him. Yeah, I mean that comes down to Jerry not evaluating or having the right people evaluating. I don't know if it's Steven, but whether it's Steven or his people in place, it's working.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that's the differentiators. It is hard to understand like when that switch made or if that switch has been made. I'm not really sure. But I think Will McClay has a lot to deal with that too, and I'll give him that. I think the architecture of the Cowboys in recent years has been really good. And I give that to them, but I mean, if you're looking at an overall track record, it's not great, and that's a problem. But I mean, I guess it isn't really a problem though, because they've made more money and become one of the most iconic franchises out there.
Exactly. This season has a decent amount of upside. I'm not trying to be your stereotypical Cowboys fan, but
Definitely,
based on what we've seen the first 2 weeks, 30+ points.
It's hard to tell, dude. Whenever you're whipping up on dog shit teams,
Yeah,
really
I mean, we're playing the Dolphins next week, so
Buddy, I know we just got done
leave it
doing
to us. We'll probably. Oh, there goes Teddy taking a hit. Oh, Aaron Donald exiting the
he just
game.
came out of
That's
the game.
huge. We got Donald and Breeze out, ladies and gentlemen. We might be in for another. I might have jinxed it by saying this game ain't going to be 10-3. We might be in for that.
Another 10-3, I know.
Can we talk about real quickly on this game? Saints are driving here. We got a big 3rd and 7. But Jared Goff has just looked horrible these first 2 weeks. I mean,
yeah.
They won last week against Carolina, but if you look at his numbers and some of his throws, not good.
Not great. Not great at all. But I still think
you got to catch that. You got to catch that for Teddy, man. He threw it a little behind him, but
yeah. I still think that they were right to extend him the way they did. I mean, that's your guy. You got to keep going.
I mean, he went to the Super Bowl with him in his 3rd season. Oh, Michael Thomas, dude, he doesn't drop balls. He's got to catch that.
Where are you at in this game, by the way?
I just saw a 3rd and 7 drop. Am I ahead of you? I'm at 11:09.
I think you might
or 11:10. Sorry.
I think you might be a little bit behind me, actually.
Okay.
We'll catch up at commercial.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, and that way we can give the good people what time we're at as well.
Yes, sir.
As soon as a time comes up on the clock, I'll tell you where to stop or where I'll stop.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I think the Cowboys have looked pretty good through week 2. I think they did what was expected of them, and I think that's
correct.
It didn't look like that it was headed that way at the very beginning, but they got it under control pretty quick.
Oh, absolutely. When it was 7-0 today, I told you, I was like, they're just starting off slow. They need to get their head out of their ass. It's not a problem. They're going to win this game. It was just like, I would have just loved to see them just march down the first drive, but I guess not everyone can be the Patriots.
For sure. I mean, definitely not. So, I mean, speaking of that, and you've got Miami next week. I mean, they hung 53 points on them today, or 43 points.
43, yeah.
That is absurd. It really is.
So that's how many points? 59 plus 43. So we're 112 points in.
Dude, they've had 3 points scored against them in 2 games. 3.
No, yeah, I'm talking about that. I don't know if that's more impressive or more of a crazy stat, or that the Dolphins have given up 112 points as a professional team.
Buddy, they're bad. They're really
so bad, but they're trying to do it. Can I read you something really funny?
Please.
So when you're on ESPN Fantasy or Yahoo Fantasy, this happens to be on ESPN. You go to the waiver section, look at the defenses, see what they're saying about them in their matchup.
Yep.
And it's always, telling you who's healthy, how this team does versus run and pass. I went to the Dolphins at the very bottom and it literally says, "Why are you reading this? Just for fun? We assume you never consider using a defense that just gave up 59 points against arguably the greatest quarterback ever coming in the coming week."
It's so true.
That's so amazing that ESPN is like, dude, don't freaking do this.
Yeah, what is wrong with you? Like, if you're not even looking at that, you're not paying nearly enough attention to what's happening. I mean, really, truly.
So they win. That is the worst franchise in the NFL
right now. Yeah, for sure. The Patriots went in as 19-point favorites. I told you. I mean, you told me you were like, "There's no reason for you to be worried about this game." I disagree typically with that, because these are the.
Thought it was a 10-14 type.
Yeah, because these are the type of games where they do that shit, man, and it's always in Miami down there, and it's I don't know. They did it last year too, where they let one slip away for no real reason, but. I wasn't even thinking about betting on them or anything, because like I know how these go, and if I wasn't going to bet against them. I'm glad I didn't, but I don't think that. I mean, linking up to Antonio Brown. I don't know how much of that game you saw, but it looks.
Oh yeah. I caught. I found a way to get the red zone in here on the Hulu with live sports.
So I think Brady and Antonio Brown look like they've been playing together for 5 years.
Well, they're both really, really smart is the thing. And
Correct.
they both we've talked about this. Like, Antonio Brown is not Julio Jones. He is not Michael Thomas, the way
No.
his body's constructed.
Correct.
He's a hard worker with great footwork, and he's good hands too. He knows how to get open, obviously, with his route running, but it's just the route running, the know-how, the studying the tape, and knowing what this guy's tendencies are. He fits in. He seems like the least Patriots guy ever, him and Josh Gordon, right? For different reasons. Josh Gordon a little more victimless, but they both seem like the least Patriot guys ever, and I think that's a crock of shit, and I think that's a terrible perception because I think Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown really want to play football and really want to win games.
I agree.
I always felt that way about Antonio until we saw the shenanigans with the Raiders, but now that we saw what was really happening, those dudes want to play football, and that's what Belichick cares about. Belichick doesn't care about your personal life as long as you're not getting suspended.
Right.
He cares that you are there. I think he definitely doesn't care about your personal life would maybe be a better way to put it.
Yeah,
He cares
definitely
about you being there after a win on Sunday, being in there 6 a.m. Tuesday, watching tape, doing what everyone else is doing what Tom's doing. That's what Belichick cares about. And I think both those guys fit into that, contrary to popular opinion.
You're talking about a coach who had 3 guys show up to a game where they were late because their plane was their flight was canceled. They couldn't get back to Foxborough in time, and they showed up, said, "Hey, it was a weather delay. Our flight was canceled," and he fucking cut them.
Yeah,
get out of here.
That shit happens, but it's like, no,
plan
not
for
here.
it. Yeah, plan for it. That's what that says. Be here 2 days early if it means be a day early.
Miami would have been like, it's okay, guys, just get here when you can.
Right. And I think most organizations would, and I get that, but I also get where he's coming from too. It's perfection in it's exactly like the military. It's perfection in every single manner, no matter what, every time. And we can talk about Antonio Brown off the field shit all day long, and I don't know who did what. We're talking about this from a pure football standpoint. We'll find out more in the coming weeks, I guess. I don't really know, what's all going on with that.
That could drag on for a while.
It could, but it could also absolutely go away, and we never hear much about it again. And I don't think that's exactly going to be the case here. But all I'm saying is, whenever the Patriots look at it, it's very black and white. They're looking for value, and that's the most value you can get. The most symbiotic relationship available. That's why they did this move. It has nothing to do with the off-the-field shit. Like, if you want to sit there and ask the question, would they have done this move again if they knew what they knew now? Absolutely is the answer to that question.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, he was able to play today. He wasn't put on the exempt list.
Correct.
So,
and you know what?
Play out. Whatever we learn, we're going to learn. But as of right now, the man's allowed to play football, and that's what Bill Belichick cares about.
Right. And at the end of the day, okay, so you get one. So say that it all comes out and it's true. Let's just wildly speculate for a second. And the Patriots cut him tomorrow. That's still a game less that Josh Gordon had to go out there and grind to be the number one receiver.
They only gave him $9 million guaranteed versus the $29 million the Raiders gave him. And for those that don't know how guaranteed money works, it's guaranteed if you're in uniform.
Correct. Correct.
So you divide $9 million by 16, you're going to get, $600,000 a game or whatever. It's $550,000 a game. They will pay him $550,000 for today's services of beating them 43-0. That's worst case scenario.
Pretty fucking good. Not a bad day's work.
And that's goes back to a good organization versus actually I would almost argue Oakland's worse than Miami because at least Miami is like, okay, we're just rebuilding this thing and tanking, where Oakland's like, no, we're going to keep it going.
Yeah, that's true.
Mack and Amari Cooper, keep everything else intact. Bring in AB. No, let's get rid of AB. Yeah, we should be fine.
Boy, dude. I mean,
they go out 10-0. And you know what? I'm talking that shit. And they won last week, and they were up 10-0 on the Chiefs today. But it's 14-10 now. Mahomes got 172 yards and 2 TDs, and they're about to get Mahomes. Chiefs are gonna win that. They're gonna cover the 7-point spread. I feel pretty confident in that.
Almost certainly.
So Jared Goff's made some pretty good throws on this drive. After I just talked a lot of shit, he's actually made a really good throw to Cooper Kupp, a beautiful throw to tight end on the.
We didn't say he's been horrible.
There.
He just hasn't been. It's just been a slow start for him, I think.
Yeah. I mean.
There you go.
I think there's going to be a little bit more of the. What are you at? I'm at 7:31 on the time.
I'm at 6:51. So
okay. So let me get ahead here because I actually was backing up.
Okay. Let me know whenever you get ahead. And
yeah, I can get up to live.
And then you'll have to pause for a second because I'm at 6:51 with a flag down right now.
Okay. I'll get to where you're at. I'm right there.
But yeah, man. So I mean, they look good today. They took care of business. So I'm pleased with how everything is going. I know you guys think it's absolutely crazy, but I really do think there's a chance to pay. If AB plays the whole year, I think there's a strong chance they don't lose a game. I really do.
Oh, I was gonna say to win the Super Bowl. I think that's not crazy. Yeah, I think that. I mean, I would love to take an under on a 15.5 against you.
Okay, we'll think about it. We'll talk about it.
I give you. You know what? Because of the risk of AB, I would go 14.5, and I'll take the under.
Yeah, I just wouldn't be comfortable making anything like that without knowing what's going to happen with Antonio Brown.
Okay, let's say Antonio Brown's not on there. Let's just say he's out. The rest, he only played one game. What's the number for you? I still think it's like 14.5 or 13.5 still seems pretty fair.
Yeah, I think they get caught off guard, but I still think they win like
we
14
can go
games.
14 and basically say 15 or 16 wins you win, 14's even, and 13 and below I'll take.
Yeah, and I mean I guess it's an out if AB doesn't play on this thing for both of us, right? Is that fair?
Yeah, we'll work something out. Or maybe what could be fun just for the audience is we could do like a Cowboys versus Patriots, and you spot me like 3.5 or 2.5 games or something like that.
Yeah, we'll figure that out this week.
I see the Patriots being a 14-2 team, where I see Dallas probably being a 10-6 or 11-5 team.
Yeah, I picked Dallas over 9 wins. I think was what they were at, but I don't think they're much more than that. I think they're maybe 10-win team.
I think I picked them 9-7 very disrespectfully, but this probably
You're
goes
being
back.
Conservative.
That was the same episode I said I'd take Case Keenum over Dak. So I was clearly still fired up about him.
Sure.
Hitting a crack pipe before turning down $30 million a year.
I mean, is it any worse than Laramie Tunsil?
Hey, leave old gas mask alone.
So great, dude.
That's pretty fucked up. That cost that guy
a lot of money.
That guy, $8 million of guaranteed money. And it's just like his uncles that's pissed that wouldn't give him like $500 or something. It's like, Jesus, man, don't blackmail your freaking nephew.
It's wild. What a wild move. I love it. I love it.
Oh man, it's just like, what kind of crazy shit really is could be let out, you know what I mean?
Oh, always. I mean, that's always the case when it comes to that kind of thing.
I just feel like football players got the most skeletons in the closet by a mile.
Oh, it's a league of scumbags. There's no doubt about that.
Just confirmed psychopaths. But
I would like to point out to the audience too that this is the last official NFL game home game that will be played on what also uses as a baseball diamond with Oakland.
Oh yeah. That's right.
So no more, dude. What do you think about that? Does that piss you off to the highest order? Whenever you watch a Raiders game, is to be playing in the middle of a damn baseball diamond?
No, it doesn't piss me off. I think I never understood it. I'm like this. I don't get why they do it that way, but no, it's never bothered me. To me, it would bother me more if it as a player, like trying to plant in some of that dirt.
Right. I see. For me, it's absurd that that's still a possibility.
But those are, that's two sports you're really passionate about too. So you're just like, what the fuck's going on here? And I mean,
well, it's just insane to me that they can't have their own baseball field, or that this team can't have their own football field. Which, I mean, I guess they solved that problem by moving to Las Vegas, but still, like,
right.
Have you ever been to that place in Oakland?
No,
dude, it is the worst place I've ever been as far as like stadium wise. Dude, shit's bad whenever they have the troughs to pee in the bathroom.
Oh yeah,
the metal trough.
It's just a bucket, but everyone's standing next to each other. Okay, so where are you at on the? I just want to make sure we're synced up. I'm at 6:38.
I'm at 6:44 and the clock's running. So
okay, cool.
I think you're about half a play ahead of me.
Yeah,
I just hit 6:38, so we're pretty close.
I already checked my phone, or I got an alert on my phone, so I already know what the good folks at home may already know. But I mean, I really,
just saw it too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to wrap my head around the Dallas thing and Dak. You know what? I think the best way to sum it up is you either paid neither of them, because Dak and Zeke complement each other and they make that offense what it is, or you pay both of them. And because you paid Zeke, I feel like you got to pay Dak now. You're pretty much just all in.
You're locked into that for sure. I mean, you may as well, man. You got to go all in here. You can't. We talked about that already a little bit.
Right on cue, my man's.
Let's go.
Mr. Underrated.
Let's go. We are a little bit behind for those that don't know, but we just saw the return for a touchdown from the Rams. So Saints up 9-3 now.
Yeah,
10-3.
I think he booted it in.
Yep. Is it coming back or anything? I haven't seen. But yeah, man, I get where you're coming
Goff
from.
got hit hard as fuck right there too. Look at that.
But dude, there's been some injuries in this game so far. That's for sure. Kind of glad we're doing the live stream.
That ball's not going forwards. Are they saying that's going forwards?
Let's see. Okay, so he comes back.
Oh,
dude,
wow.
it's hard.
It might
to
have been.
say.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't really have control of it, but he like pushed it forwards.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
I always hate it when it's like he lost the ball clearly, like it slipped out of his hand, and he tries to like push it. It's like, you didn't really throw it. You just had lost control already and tried to push it.
Yeah. At least this isn't at the end of the game, because that's the last thing we need is another situation like that between these two teams.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, I mean, the Saints made a big stink about that, rightfully so.
Rightfully so. They got robbed.
Yeah. I mean, it is different versus being in like a wild card game versus the NFC Championship.
Right. Yeah,
and,
dude, for sure.
Dude, that just means so much to that city for, people that know New Orleans people or Louisiana people or Saints fans. Like, that means a lot to that city.
Did you see how many people were wearing ref jerseys in the first game?
I love that so
many
much.
People, dude.
Dude, that's so great.
I feel like the Saints fan base, I don't really prefer them very much, but I feel like they're very akin to the New England fan base of just rabid people.
Oh, absolutely, dude. And being around some LSU games and some LSU guys, and yeah, they're wild. They're a wild bunch, all the Louisiana teams. Those are actually kind of low-key. LSU and like TCU's my college team, but LSU's number 2. And then for football, it's Cowboys. And then, I mean, it's a far drop-off to the Saints, but like if Cowboys are out of it, that's who I'm going for.
For sure.
I also love Drew, though.
Dude, I think that next year, so we've been doing all kinds of travel stuff, or we're starting to get there. Like I'm going to an Atlanta playoff game. Me and Sam are going to do that. So we're going to do a bunch of live streaming for baseball and all that. But next year, I think for football, I think we need to consider maybe going up to Buffalo for a Patriots-Bills game, because I feel like that rivalry alone just breeds insanity in a rabid fan base.
Yeah, I think another one would be and it depends how good the teams are too, but I think a Baltimore-Pittsburgh one would be entertaining. But I understand, you having the Patriot route.
Well, it's not as much that as it is that they know they're going to get beat and they just make the best out of it every single time. And I don't know of any other fan base that does that as well as the Bills fan base does, because those are some poor-ass people, man, as far as feeling bad. Not poor, but feeling bad for them as far as a fan base goes.
Well, just having to live in the city of Buffalo cannot be.
Yeah, dude. Every year, whenever they have to dig that damn place out for a football game, it's just absurd.
I don't get it.
How does that happen in 2019?
So my fiance's sister and husband live there, and they said the high, like I was talking to them today, the high there today is 68.
Dude, I love that. I'm good.
I hate that.
I know, dude. You and I value weather very, very differently.
Yeah, I hate that. Oh yeah, because I just don't like the cold. It's like if it's 45 degrees or 40 degrees at night in September, I'm fucking out, dude.
That's so crazy. You can't just put a coat on and deal with it?
I mean, yeah, I can, but why not be somewhere where it's 70 at night? Like I like 90 more than I like 50.
But dude, I love going to like a baseball game in like July or August and being able to wear jeans.
Yeah, I mean, just being outside, just going to a Rangers game in July or August is almost unbearable no matter what you're wearing.
Yeah, it's impossible. You can't really.
And that's why they're doing what they're doing with the stadium.
That place looks pretty awesome, man.
Let's go, Teddy. There you go.
Let's go. There you go. Yeah, that place looks pretty awesome. Is the new ballpark they're building over here in Arlington. So we're gonna be doing a bunch of shit from there for opening day and everything. So it's gonna be pretty awesome. But yeah, man, for me, I just would rather be. I'm a hot-natured person, though, and that doesn't help anything. And so, like, I'm always hot.
I kind of am, too, honestly.
At all points in time. It's fucking terrible. And, like, whenever I go skiing, I literally, like, I've been in situations where it's, like, 11 or 12 degrees under, and I'm just wearing, like, a shell of a jacket because I'm just radiating heat.
Yeah, I'm usually like that, too. I will say I went to Chicago in February this year, and I had just, like, a T-shirt. So I had like an undershirt and then like a t-shirt and a hoodie. And dude, when that wind hit me, it just holy shit, it cut through me, man. And I got a couple extra LBs protecting me, dude. That shit I felt in my ribs, man. Like
you've got to have the right jacket and everything for.
You got to have like a coat, like a real coat,
like a parka for real. Like
but it's just like, so you would prefer like the Northeast weather over like San Diego?
No, definitely not. But like,
because I think that's ideal. Like as much as I love Texas, like California's weather is way more ideal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I grew up in it. I know, but like I also
NorCal is people think of like people don't realize though. You know that NorCal gets cold as shit though.
Sure does. We didn't turn on our air conditioner for 3 years. 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like LA, San Diego is like the best weather to me.
No doubt about it. But I would, if you take the extreme hot versus the extreme cold, I'll take the extreme cold all day long and deal with it. But that's just me. I get the other side of that. I do, but it's just not my thing.
At least you're in the extreme hot in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and not in like the middle of Mississippi. It could be worse.
Buddy, I don't know though. Like there are days I can't go outside.
Well, the amount of concrete there certainly makes it hotter.
That's true. That's very true.
It's hotter in DFW than it is Austin. But enough weather talk. We do value it so much differently though.
It's crazy,
you always crack up how much of a big deal I make it about. I just can't wait till one of these players comes out and they just say, all these guys really care about is where they live. Be like, I fucking knew it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? We may very well swing back that way at some point. But I think that players are so much smarter now, and they get the whole. We talk about this on the basketball show all the time. So those listening, they definitely know what we're talking about here. But it's the whole like, oh, a player's going to choose to go play in LA because of the weather. I think that's or
I think it used to be a combination of the weather, the lifestyle, and the organization.
Definitely.
But all these great organizations have squandered and taken for granted their location.
Correct.
It's like, oh, we're the Knicks. Oh, we're the Lakers. Oh, we're the Heat. It's like, well, okay, but your teams suck.
Right. How many times have we had the discussion? Like, I cannot wrap my head around every time I'm in New York. I think that I cannot believe that Madison Square Garden doesn't sell out every night for the Knicks. I just don't understand.
Yeah, everyone's like, well, the ticket price is like, oh, well,
bullshit.
Between 9 million people in New York City, they got the money. Trust me.
Buddy, I was in New York back in March. You remember this. And someone offered me floor seats to the Knicks Cavs, and I said, nah.
I'm good.
I'm all right.
That is a real shitty game, though.
That's what I'm saying, and I don't have any interest in that whatsoever to waste my time doing.
But it's the teams like the Bucks in the NBA, and then let me try to think of a smaller market team in the NFL. Kansas City, maybe.
Kansas City, yep.
It's these teams are starting to come up kind of to the top that are middle to small market teams, and it's like they're showing that it can be done. And you're right. I mean, just today's day and age, it doesn't matter as much that you're in LA or you're in New York.
Because you're
even
traveling
though it would
out there,
to me personally.
Right. You're traveling out there most of the time anyway. So, I mean, you're talking about,
God,
the NBA.
Taysom Hill's such a cool player.
Yeah, he is, dude. He's so slick.
I just see a quarterback catch a slant across the middle and then take on some contact. Like, I love that.
Dude, yes. Just a beast of a man.
What do they list him as? Wide receiver?
I think he's a wide receiver. Yeah, he should be a tight end. He's
big enough.
He's big enough for sure. But
yeah, we go. Chiefs 20-10, so they're on a little 20-0 run. That's pretty much what I was expecting.
Pretty much thought that was going to happen.
275 yards and 3 touchdowns from Mahomes before halftime.
Dude, those yellow gloves that Travis
Just saying,
Kelce,
he might be the best player in the league.
True. Those gloves that Travis Kelce is wearing. I have work gloves like that I use to mow the lawn.
Those look sick though. With the they look like the ones like the moms would put on the big yellow rubber ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, so it's funny this is a non-sports story whatsoever, but it's still a good one. Claire likes to have like dish gloves whenever she does the dishes. I actually used to. I really don't care anymore, but I just something about get caked on food and I don't know, something about it.
Dude, I just get mine filthy and then just wash them afterwards.
I know. I've kind of gotten to that point where I quit dealing with it entirely and just wash them. I really don't care that much, you know. But I used to be a little bit more picky about it, and so I bought some on Amazon one time, and they were like Claire wanted like longer ones, like ones that came up a little bit more, right?
Ones that would fit Travis Kelce.
Basically, yeah, dude. And so I bought these gloves, and they literally came up to the bicep, and they were like
full sleeve.
Yeah, these were like.
I'm gonna go hoop in 24-hour with that one time. It's dude, like my ass sleeve, man.
Let me tell you,
just sweating your ass off.
Yeah, they are not comfortable to wear. Number one. Number two, they're actually industrial type, like used for like science type.
Did he just
stuff.
go for it and get shut down right there?
I think so. Yeah. Yep. Sure did.
Yep.
Wow. That stinks.
Man, that's a
tough call.
That's the Achilles heel with Sean Payton. He's aggressive and you'll get badass stuff like that onside kick, but years back. But
what do you think of him overall? Do you think he's a good coach? I mean, obviously he's a good coach.
Yeah, I think he's a good coach. I think he's a great system that Drew Brees has helped him like anybody. But any great coach has had great players help them.
Definitely.
Belichick is a beneficiary of Brady, even though Belichick's a genius. Phil Jackson, these guys have all had players to rely on. But yeah, overall, I mean, I think his scheme is great. Like I would still like the Cowboys as much. I actually don't mind Jason Garrett as much as most fans. Oh, there goes Gurley and arthritis. But
Dude,
if
yeah,
I could take one coach to bring into the Cowboys, besides Belichick's, obviously that wouldn't happen. I would take Sean Payton over Sean McVay.
Well, you have to judge the situation here, right? Like, I think that the reason people hate Garrett so much is because he just hasn't helped himself in so many ways, and like
he's been a little. I like the way he handled himself a little bit more last year.
Agreed, but like
he didn't pussyfoot around things as much.
I actually sent this to a buddy of mine the other day who's probably watching right now, but it was whenever the Lucky Whitehead thing happened. So this was like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah,
or something like that.
Some of the dog or what happened with Lucky Whitehead again?
I forget what it was, but none of it ended up being true. But they cut him anyway, which who cares, right? Lucky Whitehead,
right?
Yeah, we hadn't really seen him do anything else. I think he played for the Giants for a little while. I don't know.
He literally weighed 160 pounds.
Yeah, dude. He was so and he fumbled the ball like crazy. But he was a pretty good kick returner, but he just fumbled way too often for it to work. But anyway, they cut him, and so Garrett tried to go into a presser. Well, this is during camp, and he tried to go into a presser and Belichick the thing and just try to shut it down. He looked like the biggest douchebag I've ever seen in my life. Like, the fact that Bill Belichick acts like he does in press conferences, there's only one reason he gets away with that, because that's how he is in real life. Jason Garrett's not that guy. Don't try to be a guy you're not. Don't ever try to be a guy you're not, especially when you're a coach.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Garrett's definitely a nice guy.
Right, and that's fine. Be a nice guy. Be a nice guy. Don't try to Belichick this thing if you're not that kind of guy.
You know who I actually wouldn't mind being head coach over him that's already on our staff, which I'm not the first to say this, is Chris Richard.
Yeah.
Or DC,
Yeah.
And defense, and I just criticized the defense, but it's more of just an attitude and what he brings. I mean, he was the DB. So for those that don't know, he's the DB coach for the Seahawks when they were Legion of Boom, moved to their DC. Now he came in as Dallas's like or assistant DC last year, DB coach, and now he's actually running the defense. And maybe he needs to stick to DBs because the defense hasn't looked great. But
Rod Marinelli's still there though, right?
Okay, then. Well, no.
Is he gone?
No. Yeah. Let me pull up Chris Richard here and see what his exact title is. But I believe he is the official DC now. But that's a guy that I just really like his. I just really like his attitude. He gets in players' faces. He pumps them up. He's a younger guy as well, so I think he can relate to the players. Like, I think the players probably respect Jason Garrett, but like no one's relating to Jason Garrett on the Cowboys team.
No, probably not. Yeah, probably not.
Jason Witten, maybe.
Yeah,
What do you think of bald Jason Witten?
Good, dude. If you're bald,
look.
Dude, like I'm losing my hair. I wear a fucking hat. That's fine. Like whatever,
it.
but I fucking own it.
He was in the booth with plugs last year, hard,
right,
man.
Like, and I fucking own it. I'm not gonna go out and get plugs like an asshole. Like, don't do that. And like, I was actually thinking about this. You remember all the billboards for the hair restoration stuff that he was in around here in Dallas?
Yeah.
Like, that looked okay. I don't know what happened. His ass hair didn't hold up, apparently.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Maybe Chris Richard is just the
DB coach.
Yeah. Oh, he's the passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach, assistant to the defensive coordinator. So yeah, Marinelli's still there. He's assistant DB coach. He's passing game coordinator. Maybe there's something to that if he's helping out Kellen Moore, because their passing games look pretty damn good.
There is a lot going on there. I don't.
That's kind of a weird.
Yeah, that's really
weird role.
Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting.
All
yeah,
right,
so I don't know about all that quite yet. But I just, with Garrett, man, I think that you have to, whenever you look at a coach, no matter what it is, you got to look at what the organization is and what it requires. Like someone like Bill Parcells was never going to work with Jerry. The only reason he did that was to get a stadium built, period.
Right.
That's what he did.
Right.
And like Wade Phillips, another great example. He's not a head coach. Don't get me wrong. He's not. But
great DC.
And I respect the shit out of Wade, dude. And
I liked Wade, but it was just like, yeah, this guy's got to go.
Dude, it wasn't a head coaching
Wade's too nice
situation.
of a guy.
It was a Dave Campo 2.0 type situation. With
Oh
that.
God.
And I
Chan Gailey.
Oh God, I forgot about Chan Gailey. That's right.
Me, God, dude, like there were some dark years in there.
There were, man. I'm telling you.
You look up and it's like, all right, we got Chan Gailey, we got Quincy Carter, Rocket Ishmael, year 17.
Bledsoe.
Dear God.
Yep. All that shit.
Brad Johnson.
Not
God.
great stuff, man.
Really.
Not great stuff there. That's
So
for
we
sure.
got a minute. I'm at a minute 6.
I'm at a minute 14.
Got second down.
Or a minute 10. Sorry.
Rams are inside the 10-yard line, so
I'd
see
like
if they
them to
can push
stop
it in
here.
before halftime. This is a big possession right here because this game clearly with Teddy coming in, even though Teddy's looked like decent, like pure game manager,
It's not Drew Brees.
he's not Drew Brees. He doesn't look shook, but he's not going to put a lot of points on the board. So if the Rams can go into halftime with a 7-point lead at home, I feel pretty confident they'll pull this game out.
I don't know, man. I've got the Saints here, and I won't.
You're getting the field goal, which is big, or did you get 2.5?
I got 3.
Yeah, getting the field goal is huge.
I got it early in the week, though.
Right. That's big thing getting it early because it definitely. I think it moved to 2, 1.5 or so at the at kickoff. But out of these 3 Rams receivers, who do you like the most between Cooks, Woods, and Kupp?
I actually like Woods a lot.
I do too.
I haven't
like
seen enough of Cooper Kupp to really be able to say yet, just because he got hurt last year. But I like Ray Woods a lot.
I think he's probably the most complete of those guys.
Agreed. He's got the most experience for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if he's the biggest. I know he's bigger than Cooks. He might be the biggest, but I just like his combination of hands, route running, and speed. Like he's kind of just like and I'm not comparing these 2 players, but he's like a poor man's DeAndre Hopkins, where DeAndre has great hands, great route running, and really good speed. He has like good hands, good route running, and
moderate speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like pretty good.
They're actually probably the same speed. DeAndre Hopkins only ran like a 4.56. Like he's not a burner.
No, definitely not.
Actually, I could be wrong on that. I don't want to disrespect DeAndre, but he's not a burner like some of these guys.
Yeah, that's for sure. I can't believe they called a timeout here with 10
Like,
seconds
dude,
left.
John Ross, that guy's been hot these first 2 weeks. And that guy, he's the one that ran the 4.22 that set the record. And that's on a laser. So people don't understand there's a difference between a hand clock and a laser. The laser, as soon as you flinch off the line, it clocks you. So his hand clock, his unofficial time was 4.15 at the combine, which is just
wow,
absolutely insane.
it's pretty crazy.
So DeAndre's 6'1", 214. That's my exact height. 33.5-inch arms. Don't have that.
No.
10-inch hands, definitely not. Dreads, negative. Yeah, 4.57 40. So I mean, not a burner.
Yeah, no, not at all. Pretty good though.
36-inch vert, really good vert, but not like an oh my god.
Definitely not. Yeah, not like jaw dropping or anything.
Yeah, I mean 4.57, and he gave you 15 reps and 36-inch vertical. I mean, that's like, I'll take you to Mr. Julio Jones, who is 2 inches taller, 10 pounds heavier, and he ran a 4.39 on the laser, which is just stupid. 17 reps, 38.5-inch vert. So it's just like, for being not a great athlete, or relative to the wide receiver position.
Correct. Yeah. It's all relative.
It's one of the most athletic positions in the world in any sport. I mean, he's
right.
just, I marvel at him.
I'll settle for the field goal.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that attempt, though.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, you got to try it. We're getting to halftime. We're going to hit a break, I think, for a little bit. We're going to be gone during halftime, and we'll be back to start the second half here in a few minutes.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, we are back. Halftime is over. We got 15 minutes on the clock for the. Who's got the ball here in the second half? I didn't even see who got it in the first half.
Saints got it first.
Cool.
Jared Goff just threw it away on first down.
Right on. We're about 15 minutes. We're about to hit the first snap, so we're just probably a little bit behind people, but not too much. Good break. We didn't get that in last time. We just talked all the way through halftime, so hopefully this will let us go all the way to the end of the game. But yeah, man, it's been a pretty good game so far. 6-3 Rams without Drew Brees. I think that's probably the biggest shocker of the day, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there's been decent ball movement. I need to look up and see what the team's total yards are, but the defense has just kind of stepped up because both teams have, kind of made their way onto the other side. Rams have been in the red zone twice and had to take field goals, but both defenses have bend and not broke really well here.
Dude, definitely. I think that's the best way to describe it, and that's always the Saints mentality, which is actually
watch this. What they just show in a second. I think I'm like 5 seconds ahead of you. That play call that they just show that screen. That's a 3rd and goal right there. I don't get that.
I don't know why you would call that. I don't like Sean McVay's play calling at all, dude. I really don't.
It was sexy last year.
Yeah, but it didn't. I mean, I don't know. I guess if you don't
just because Belichick was a genius and shut it down doesn't mean that they didn't was 4th most points, total points scored. It was pretty good.
No, it was. It's really hard for me to have any kind of objectivity when it comes to something like that. It really is, and I admittedly say so. But I just think there's this mystique around McVay that in a lot. He's not the only one. There's a lot of these younger buck type coaches, and I don't.
Cam Jordan is just eating this tackle. I don't know what this right tackle's name is, but he's just eating his
every
lunch.
single time. Every single time, just eating his lunch.
Oh, here we go. Drew's jogging back on.
Okay. Yeah, you're just a tad bit ahead of me, but not by much.
I'll pause for a brief second. Tell me when he starts jogging on. That boy is just loaded up with cortisone and opioids.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. Oh yeah, he's jogging on now. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. That's oh my god, that's so crazy to me, man. Oh, I don't even know what my question is, to be honest. How does this happen? I mean, I get it. It's football, right? It's a tough sport. Look at Drew Brees. His arm is stiff.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that is definitely tougher than you or I.
Definitely.
Just no doubt. And, this is his last season to really win, I think.
No doubt.
And I think he knows how much this game means.
Agreed. So have you ever had a cortisone shot before yourself?
Yes.
Okay, so though, right? Whenever you get a cortisone shot, it'll kill the inflammation for sure, but you can
total Band-Aid.
Yeah, you can still feel mechanically when something's wrong.
Yeah, so it's almost a numbness. You can
Correct.
feel mechanically, tendon, ligament, muscle, whatever it may be. Generally, right. Cortisone's gonna be a little bit better for just swelling and inflammation, sprains, but you can still feel the movement is not where it should be. So it's almost like if you ever had your ankles taped really well, where you can move, but it doesn't feel like you don't have the full range of motion. It's kind of similar to that.
Correct.
Total Band-Aid though, because Drew Brees is going to be 6 p.m., 6:30, whenever this game's over, he's going to be feeling it.
Dude, if he's already taking cortisone shots, it's hard to say how long he's going to last this year. Because we talked about this, or we talk about this on the basketball show a lot, but we also talk about it in football a lot too, where sometimes the decline of these guys are so fast. Look at Peyton, dude. Man, I'm so glad that you and I feel the same way about Peyton, where we both think he's pretty overrated. And
totally.
I mean, you want to talk Antonio,
as a person and as a professional.
Dude, yes, you want to talk about Antonio Brown being in trouble. You should go look into what Peyton Manning's done, because there's a lot more circumstantial evidence that shows he's guilty of that shit than what Antonio Brown did so far, anyway. But regardless, you think about the fact that, he was throwing out absolute ducks during that Super Bowl, right? That was a defensively won Super Bowl when he was with Denver. But also, he couldn't feel his 2 middle fingers. So, right. It's hard to fault him. Even the most ardent Peyton hater like myself could kind of understand that that's not necessarily easy to do.
I mean, he had all that nerve damage in his neck, which is a pretty serious injury, not just for performing in football, but just for living life in general. And to your point, it all happens pretty quick. Definitely more so for football players than basketball players, but more so with the big men and basketball players, it can happen pretty quick, actually.
I think we're going to see more and more of it the rapid decline happening quickly, though, because of how much more we know about taking care of bodies. And I mean, we talk about this
on longevity.
Like, we talk about this with LeBron all the time. And, like, regardless of how you feel like he's going to do this year, I mean, the fact that he's done what he's done continuously for as long as he's done is just goddamn impressive, no matter who you are.
Exactly. And I think it's, no matter how you feel about LeBron, you have to admire that. I do think it is going to get to a point, though, where, like, and this may be 50 years down the road, maybe 20, but, like, you look at how these high power programs like your Michigans, your Alabamas, your Texas, they were feeding kids in the 90s just straight up steak and potatoes. Yep. They're going to have these dudes on, like, TB12 vegan diets, like, where you can't eat anything that's not green or, from the ocean. And it's headed that direction because the more science, the more data, the more, funded research, trial research goes on with the benefits of good diet and, like, low inflammation, low injury risk, better performance. More that's going to come out, and teams like Alabama that want to win championships and make money are going to implement that.
Absolutely, as they should.
It's just going to be weird when you see, like, a 290-pound guy and it's like he's got his little, like, spinach, kale, tofu, and almonds, and it's like, I'm pretty sure Jim Harbaugh was John Harbaugh last year. No, was it? I think it was Jim. Yeah, it was Michigan. Yeah. So Jim was the one that was saying, I still feed my guys whole milk, mashed potatoes, and steak. And it's like, so we're not there yet, but eventually it will get there.
I mean, that gives me a lot of concern just simply for our Michigan pick alone on this year.
Yeah. Well, they look slow as shit against Army, and that's probably why.
Hey, dude, we talked about this on PC, but that Army
coach just made me knock down a pint of fucking whole milk before I came out here.
Yeah, dude, I hope that's what happens. But, I mean, we talked about this on PC, though. I mean, if anybody heard that Army coach's speech, I mean, I would have run through a brick wall for this guy.
Yep. I think that was one of the best points that you made. Army plays with a lot of passion.
Dude, well, they play like we talked about this with Belichick earlier with the military, all that. No mistakes. None.
Right. Michigan wasn't focused enough in that game.
No, Michigan-Wisconsin will be a good game this weekend, I think.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see where that line's at because at Wisconsin. Wisconsin's looked pretty decent.
Ooh, nice run there.
That looked great. Yeah, that was a good play by Murray. I was trying to see if they gave him the first down.
Brandon Cooks has got to make that catch, though, that he missed a few minutes ago.
Agreed. But yeah, I mean, I think that Michigan. I think Michigan will still be favored on the road.
What'd you say?
Still ranked like 7th. Michigan at Wisconsin. I think they'll still be favored. I don't know if there's a line out yet.
I'm looking right now. Give me a second.
Probably won't come out till tomorrow, but I think Michigan's pretty overrated. Even
Wisconsin by 3.
Wow. I might.
That's home, though.
Yeah. I don't know, though. I mean, I'd like to see what Wisconsin's record is against Michigan over the last few years. I don't think they play all the time, though. That being said, though, Ohio State looks like the best class it looks like the class of the Big Ten for sure.
Dude, Clemson.
We might eat shit on that pick from Jason.
Whatever. We knew that was a long shot pick anyway. That was the whole idea. I mean, why pick chalk, right? Like
a lot of it comes down. I mean, I freaking took Ohio State and Bama out and inserted Michigan and Utah, and that just comes down to just blatant hate for those two schools. The two college schools I hate the most are Alabama and Ohio State. I would say.
Interesting. I hate Ohio State a lot less now that Urban Meyer's gone.
USC's pretty high up there.
Dude, USC is primed to hire Urban Meyer. Prime.
Oh, God.
It's going to happen. Mark this stream down. It's going to happen.
He just has such oddly timed health issues.
Yeah, I know, right? Odd.
But
very odd indeed. He's one of those guys I just can't stand. And anybody, like, he's full of shit. And I hate people that are full of shit like that.
Yep. Just staying in the realm of college football, though, we were pretty, disappointed in the slate on the Wednesday show of PC. We were pretty disappointed in the slate of college football we were presented with this weekend, but there were some pretty good games yesterday. Yeah, Pitt and Penn State was fun early.
That wasn't too bad.
The Iowa State game, even though there was a little delay, was fantastic.
Michigan State losing like they did was pretty bad.
Incredible. Arizona State, very surprising. I love seeing Herm get the win. I like Herm a lot. But I actually enjoyed college football a good amount yesterday. But the Big 12, obviously, these first few episodes I've hopped on PC with you guys is I'm a big Big 12 guy, even though I give all the respect to the SEC. I mean, they looked pretty good yesterday. Granted, it wasn't against like great Power 5 competition, but anytime you can go out of conference and have your sixth best team in your conference beat the sixth best team in another conference, it still looks good.
For sure. I think that OU looked pretty good in the first half and not as good in the second half. I think Chip Kelly made some good adjustments.
I think OU still looks like a top 4 team until proven otherwise.
Yeah, probably so. But I
mean, Jalen Hurts' stats are insane.
Oh, yeah, and like that's the craziest part about it is I anticipate the score to be actually more reflective of that.
They won by 34 points.
That's true. I guess it did slide away in the end. I stopped watching it around the third quarter probably.
Yeah, they won by 34 points on the road. You know, late kickoff out there west. So I don't know. I'm still pretty high on OU. I think they're a top 4 team.
I agree.
I didn't pick them to go into the. Oh wait, no, I did pick them. I had them going in there. I have them going undefeated.
I definitely didn't have Utah. I had Alabama in over them, and I think Alabama will definitely do it.
Utah's Jason couldn't even keep a straight face when I said that. He thinks that's full of shit. I mean,
it's a hopeful pick.
And they're going to be top 10 after this week because they were 11th, and
they are top 10. I think they edged out.
Okay.
Yeah, they edged out somebody. I forget who it was. Everything else stayed the same though.
His ankles just got cropped.
I think it's all right. I think they got tangled up a little bit.
This is. I mean, we already saw the Rams offensive lineman potentially, hopefully for his sake, not tearing ACL, but certainly look like that getting carted off. This has been and this is a Saints lineman just went out too. So, I mean, it's been a pretty injury-ridden game. Granted, Drew Brees is a bigger name than those guys. Damn, Kamara's just getting bent up.
Kamara's so good, though.
He seems like one of those guys. I really don't want to jinx this because I have way too much stock in him right now and fantasy, but he seems like one of those guys that's, for whatever reason, just not going to get hurt.
Yeah. Would you pay him?
Yeah, I mean, he's actually looked kind of gingerly right there. Yeah, I'd pay him. I want to give him Zeke money.
You already know my answer to this question.
You would not pay him.
Absolutely not.
You want to pay that guy 4 for 40?
I'd take Sony Michel or James White over him any day. Yeah.
At their price tag.
Correct.
Okay, I thought you meant the same price tag. I was like,
no.
Crazy.
No, I wouldn't pay James White, Alvin Kamara money. But no, not a million years. But I wouldn't pay anybody.
Like, Alvin Kamara could legitimately play wide receiver for you, and you would pay a wide receiver $10 million.
Yeah.
You just did. And you paid Antonio 9 guaranteed.
Well, yeah, but
15 in incentives, which Patriots are great at getting unrealistic incentives. That dude's making like $9.2 million, so best case scenario.
He walked away from $30
million, people.
We talked about how he may not be insane after all, given that he walked away from $30 million knowing what he was doing, but he might have been insane for just leaving $20 million on the table. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, unless he balls out this year and gets the Jets to give him like 3 for 50 next year, which and just gets the same deal.
Very well happen. That's very common. I think it's a pretty solid rule. We talked about this on PC a little bit last time, but I think it's a pretty solid rule that if Bill Belichick comes calling for a trade, you don't answer that call, or you answer it and don't do it. Or if the Patriots let somebody walk away, you also don't sign that person to a big deal. Look at Malcolm Butler.
Exactly.
Everybody wanted to kill Bill Belichick for not playing Malcolm Butler. He knew something there.
Right.
We still don't know what that is, but he knew something. Vrabel was happy.
Yeah, that was weird because he went from like, is this guy a top 5 corner to where is he even now type thing really fast.
Really quickly.
I like that play by Teddy. Just get rid of it. He's a really calm, solid backup.
Yeah, he's very smart.
Who was real quick, can I read you Jalen Hurts' stats so far through 3 games? And granted, they've played UCLA, either North or South Dakota State, and then who'd they open up with? It was a pretty layup game. Either way,
couldn't tell you.
Through 3 games, he's only throwing 61 passes. That's only 20 passes a game. It's a lot less than you think for an OU quarterback.
Yeah, that's absurd.
80% completion percentage, 880 yards. So he's averaging 14 and a half yards an attempt.
Wow.
Pretty good. But so 880 yards through 3 games. So you're talking almost 300 yards a game. 9 touchdowns, 0 picks. Only been sacked twice. Rushing, 38 attempts for 373 yards. He's averaging 9.8 yards a carry.
He had 99 yards in the opening drive of that game yesterday.
That's insane. So if you look at total yards, I mean, you're talking about 1,250 total yards and 13 touchdowns through 3 games with 0 turnovers. That That smells like Heisman to me.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
Where's Will Lutz pulling this from? 40 or 52.
Oh, he's gonna make this for sure.
Dude, can we talk about how the biggest from college football to pro football, the biggest difference
Is a kicker.
besides defensive and offensive lines is kickers? Like in college, if it's like more than 38, you're like, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen unless it's like, there's usually like 7 or 8 like NFL level kickers. But you'll have teams that are like top 25 teams with guys that may or may not hit from 35 yards.
I mean, the Jets were trying out kickers last week. Not that they're a top 25.
I guess that's true, but I feel like there's like 4 or 5 teams that don't have their shit together at kicker, but there's so many reliable kickers from 50 and in.
Yeah, that's true. Whatever happened to Dan Bailey? Is he still with Minnesota?
Maybe. Is it not?
What did he get booted off the team for at all?
Over there?
Did he get voted off the team for smoking the marijuana? Is that what it was?
He might have.
Dude, he was doing the pot. That's come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I got to go back to my Big 12 rant real quick.
Okay.
Kansas beat Boston College by 24. We're in a commercial in here anyways. Kansas beat Boston College by 24, which that's terrible for Boston College, but that's an ACC win. Oklahoma beats UCLA, so that's a Pac-12 win. Texas beats Rice. By 35, though. The Iowa State win would have been huge if we could have beat Iowa, but K-State goes in and beats Mississippi State, 2 lower-end teams in both those conferences, but still a good SEC win on the road. Like, I'm not ever going to get mad if you beat any SEC team on the road.
You're a little more slanted towards the Big 12 than I am. I don't think that any of those wins are that particularly impressive, to be honest with you.
I mean, but you can only, I guess.
What I would have expected out of all those teams.
I mean, Texas even holding their own against LSU was very impressive. That tells you where Texas is a better place than either of you or I thought they were.
I don't know that they necessarily held their own. They got destroyed by LSU.
They lost by 7.
Did they end up losing by 7?
Yeah.
Okay, so they pulled a little closer in the end then.
Yeah, they lost by 7. It was a pretty close game. I don't know. TCU goes into Purdue and wins by, 19, and Purdue beat Vanderbilt last week. I mean, they're not a bad team. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll learn more about the conferences, but all I'm saying is if you look at it at the end of every year, Big 12 usually has the best bowl records. I get it. They get a little bit easier schedule than some of the conferences.
When you play no defense, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, but they stop the other, like you can say they play no defense. Their offenses are just better and faster.
They're
and
higher powered for sure.
Better schemes because when we play Pac-12 teams, they only score 17 points on us ever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when anybody plays any Pac-12 team ever, that's the case.
I mean, honestly, though, it's like you would think Kansas State has a pretty trash defense. Like, Texas and OU are going to hang 50 on them.
Yeah.
And SEC school only hung 24 yesterday. Granted, it's a middle of the pack SEC school. I don't think Mississippi State's the bottom of the barrel, but I don't know.
I do.
No, Ole Miss is the bottom of the barrel.
Well, yeah, okay, fair.
Vandy, Ole Miss, Tennessee, those are all worse.
Dude, Tennessee.
Arkansas, that's 4 worst teams pretty quickly. Arkansas is the worst team.
Dude,
or Tennessee.
Arkansas has crawled themselves into a hole that I'm not sure they know how to get out of.
They used to recruit Texas so well, and I don't feel like they do anymore.
Well,
they used to steal a lot of those North Texas kids, and they're all going to OU or OSU.
Well, Brett Bielema really made sure that happened properly. That guy sucked. I don't know why they held on to him for as long as they did.
Arkansas should just go back to the Big 12, honestly. Get themselves the hell out.
Agreed.
I want the Big 12 to add 2 teams so bad, but I've tried to think about this.
Who would it be?
So geographically, I wanted to sort of make sense, so we can talk about that. But then let's talk about both football and basketball because that's the only 2 moneymakers.
Yep.
But even though I can find tons of teams that you're going to be like, no, because of the name and the brand, that's the issue. It's not going to help the Big 12. It's going to hurt it because the name and the brand isn't anything.
In other words, it's going to help the school more than it's going to help the Big 12.
But like a team like Memphis, geographically makes sense, been really good at football for the last 5 years, really good at basketball the last 15 years, would be super freaking competitive and better than a lot of teams at the bottom half of any of these group of 5 school or Power 5 schools. But you hear Memphis, you're like, no. And that's the issue. Same with Cincinnati. Those are 2 that I think geographically somewhat make sense and would fit well. Houston's the obvious one. So I'm really saying who's the second.
So Houston's obvious for me. That was my first one I was going to say.
Houston's so obvious because they're good at both sports, huge city, big recruiting base. But it also just dilutes the recruiting a little bit for the Big 12 there. But
I mean,
I think that's a no-brainer. But like,
what about SMU?
They're not good enough for me at either sport.
Cool. Yeah, but I mean,
and that's more Texas teams. I think you got to try to broaden this out a little bit, broaden the
but
market.
I don't think you're going to be able to. I think that
Here's a wild card. Can I throw this at you real quick?
Go for it.
Boise State.
Tell me more.
Basketball, they're not doing a lot for you. I would love to get rid of Kansas, but they do so much for us in basketball because they're always
Absolutely,
there.
yes.
And
Les Miles is there now too,
Big
dude.
12 is the best basketball conference. They don't. The ACC has 16 teams where we have 10, so maybe they have more. They have 8 good teams where we have 6, but
more
60%
fluidity
of our conference is good. You know what I'm saying?
More fluidity.
Really good top to bottom Big 12 basketball, but yeah, I mean Boise State would hurt you in basketball a lot, but I think they help in football. I think they're intriguing because it gives you a little bit of somewhat of a West Coast representation. You got the blue field, you got the cool unis, but it's still like Boise State is the problem, is how it's looked at. You know what I mean?
Can we pause real quick and talk about the fact that Jared Goff just threw a pass into somebody's back? I mean, the receiver, the receiver wasn't not only not open, but wasn't even facing.
That's
Jared.
pretty funny.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
but he's made some. Ever since I've kind of criticized the way he started the season, he made some really good passes on that drive. He's had some dimes today, but
yeah, for sure. Anyway,
he's just a little inconsistent.
Yeah. Back to Big 12 talk. Yeah, I get what you mean. I think I don't know. I never really thought about Boise State before, though. That's a good idea. Or that's.
Appease me then. Houston's the obvious one. Who do you think is the best candidate there? I mean, you got to really think about kind of Middle America. I mean, I guess we have West Virginia, which doesn't make sense at all, but and they're decent at both sports, so it's fine. But I don't know who else you bring in.
Yeah. I just it's hard to understand what's a worse look, the fact that the Big 12 has 10 teams or the fact that it's I don't know what would be more harmful, to put 2 schools in that are somewhat smaller that could essentially be on the rise, but I don't.
Well, good thing about U of H is that that's a big school, honestly. Like there's 40,000 kids there. They're in a hub of talent for both sports.
For sure.
I think U of H just getting elevated to a Power 5 would be perfectly fine.
I think that's pretty much a no-brainer, but I also think that it's a false start. That's 2 false starts in a row, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think so.
What are we in 2nd and 20 now?
Yep, something like that.
Yep, you're right.
But I think Houston makes a ton of sense. I've grappled with what it would be, what the other one would be, but whenever Nebraska was in and
I love the teams we got rid of. Nebraska, Colorado, Missouri, take them.
Colorado, Mizzou, all those never really felt like they fit properly or made sense. So
I mean, Nebraska in the 80s and 90s was a powerhouse, though.
Absolutely.
They were the best football team for 15 years.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, once that fell off, then none of those schools really do much for you. Yeah, maybe you just leave it as is. I don't know.
For now, anyway, I guess. I think it all still revolves around UT, no matter what happens.
I see some kind of big shift in realignment somewhere. Yeah, UT is still the moneymaker over OU, which is nuts.
Yeah.
There's our boy Robert Woods making a play.
Making plays.
Dude, Mariota, man.
You're really down on him.
I just saw his stat line.
Today was a good day for him.
I mean,
wasn't terrible.
They lost the game though, didn't they?
No, they won the game.
No,
they lost.
Yeah.
Oh, they did. That's right.
He only had 158 yards. That's kind of an issue.
Well, I think they just hand the ball off a lot. It's Matt Vrabel, so I'm not surprised by that.
That's true, dude. I love this. I love this 28-0 run that the Chiefs have gone on.
I know, so epic.
Wow.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh boy.
He's getting physical in there. That dude just got.
When I saw the Cowboys game on earlier, I couldn't believe that Rob Ryan is there, part of that coaching staff. Actually, I could absolutely believe that. But
yeah, it all makes sense, right?
Do you remember the stories about how he used to remember his van? First of all, remember his big old van. He used to drive one around one of those Ford. It was the comfort vans, that have the beds that lay down in them and shit like that. So he had one of those. Does that surprise you? First of all,
No.
Okay. So he had one of those, and he used to talk about, like, remember his big thing whenever him and Rex got the lap band surgery, and then it worked for Rex, and then it didn't work for him at all?
Right.
It's because he used to
I
go.
love that.
He used to go down and throw down large pizzas in his van by himself. He said that. He's like, I used to do it all the time, and it's like, yeah, I'm not trying to fat shame the guy because at least he's honest about it and comes
Sure.
out, sure, but like, come on, dude, like the guy's enormous.
It's so funny, dude. Who's had a hell of a start to the season is Dalvin Cook, man. Coming
No
off
doubt
that
about it.
ACL tear. I think he had back-to-back weeks over 100 yards with the score. Just watching him, they lost today. It was a competitive game in the second half, but he just looks fast and explosive.
Yeah, he really does. Like, and that's typically what you lose in something like that is the explosiveness.
But I mean, obviously, with where we're getting to with technology and being able to repair those ligaments, it kind of started with AP. That was the kind of first like, whoa, because they used to be career ending, and now guys are bouncing back quick.
Well, speaking of AP,
Another catch by Robert Woods right there too.
No, oh, it was beautiful. Speaking
Really,
of AP,
really
why
glad
the
we both
hell
picked him.
Is he involved with the Redskins at all? Like, why even bother?
Who's that?
AP. Why bother?
Well, because Darius Guice is hurt.
Well, yeah, I mean, I
Chris
guess,
Thompson will get hurt. That man cannot stay healthy.
That's true. I guess this is more of like
they don't have Fat Rob anymore. I think Samaje Perine maybe is their only guy, but he has a PED thing going on, doesn't he? So I don't know.
They've got a Fat Rob, but it's a different Fat Rob on the sidelines.
But yeah, that's funny. You have to bring in AP, I think, until you get guys healthy and right, and he just hasn't been that way. He had knee issues at LSU, towards ACL last year. This is a guy I like the kid a lot just in his interviews, and I think he's got a lot of talent, but I don't know if he's going to get right. It might be those, never could get healthy kind of guys.
Do you really think that Cam is going to go play somewhere else? I mean, so I could totally understand. We got on this a little earlier, but I could totally understand if the organization decides to burn it down and cut bait with him and all that. I totally understand that, and that's probably what's going to happen here. They're just going to get rid of everything, because they have a brand new owner, and he said as much. He was like, if it's not working, you burn it down and you start over, and that's how the franchises are run now. Right. I don't see him being any kind of quality player with his injuries, man. We talked about this before. It's not a mental thing. He's a football guy. We killed Andrew Luck for not being a football guy, and I stand behind that. But he's a football guy through and through. I don't know why the hell he was dressed up like some sort of Handmaid's Tale type situation the other day, but like it's fine when you're
fashion, man. You wouldn't get it.
Right.
Oh, Gurley gets into the end zone.
Let's go.
Great run.
Arthritis. But remember,
I worry about every time he falls. I'm just like, shit.
Knees.
You all right?
Yeah, but I don't know if you heard that presser afterwards, but dude sounded dejected, and I've never heard Cam be like that before, man.
Yeah, and that's one of those where, like, when you see an elite athlete realize, like, my body's shutting down, like, that's the look on their face is what Cam had in today's post game or Thursday's post game. But I do think he can get it right if they shut him down.
I don't know that he can, dude. And
he's not that old. That's the thing, man.
I know, but we talked about this on PC too. Like,
I mean, Tom Brady tore his ACL at like what, 34?
34, yeah, something like that.
Might have been less. It was 2000.
Might have been 32.
Probably 10 years ago. Yeah, probably 31 or 2. But Cam's what, 20, 29? So I mean, he's not that old.
No. But the injuries that he's had when you start messing with your shoulder and stuff, man, that's your throwing shoulder. That's what
is it throwing shoulder? Okay,
yeah. Unfortunately, man, oh my God, that timed out at a really weird spot. Big old crotch right on the TV. I feel like with him though, like that time's gonna come quicker than it should, unfortunately, with him. That's sad.
Yeah, and
I think he knows it.
I mean, he's a talented guy that I've always liked, because I don't think that was like an insanely talented Panthers team that he took to the Super Bowl.
They lost, but still.
Yeah, but you had a good defense, not a great defense, and I mean, decent skill position players.
Who'd they go against that year? That wasn't a Patriots year, was it? No.
I need to go back and look at that roster. No, they who did they lose to? I'm gonna pull it up right now. But I don't recall that roster being very talented. I mean, you had, Greg Olsen a little bit more so in his prime, but I mean, to me, it just wasn't a great stadium. So let's take a look here. They were a 5.5-point favorite, and they got beat 24-10 by the Broncos. So that was
this was Peyton's.
Arm.
That's right.
That was Noodle Arm year.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, while we're in a commercial, let's hit a break real quick and look all this stuff up. We'll come right back with it. All right.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, we're back. Good stuff. It's had to look up these stats here real quick. So yeah, I'd forgotten it was that recent. But let's see. What were some of these stats here?
Dude, Cam struggled that game.
Yeah,
really bad.
Yeah, he did. Well, that Denver defense was insane.
Yeah, I mean it's peak Von Miller. You had the corner combo of Talib and Chris Harris. What was the safety's name, man? I love that safety.
Yeah.
43. He was a headhunter. He went to Tampa Bay paid him. I can't remember the name. But you still had D Ware on that team. It's before he retired. Trevathan, the linebackers. I mean, that defense was stacked. It was a really speed defense.
It was. That was the one that was in Santa Clara, right?
I believe so, where Lady Gaga was
performing.
kicking us off. Yeah, Santa Clara. Yep, Levi Stadium.
Dude, that place stinks.
Really? I haven't been there.
Dude, so a couple of things about it that's pretty hilarious. And there's sometimes when I just don't understand how these mistakes are made.
Is that where the Niners play?
Yes. For example, the fact that the Cowboys positioned a stadium where the light is in their own team's face past 5 o'clock is crazy. How does that happen? How does that happen, right?
The engineers not bring this up hey, Jerry, before we build this, $1 billion stadium, something we want to run by you real quick.
May want to invest in some curtains. May want to invest in some
Oh, my God. Teddy Bridgewater might be out of the game.
Oh, yeah, dude. Holy shit. He just got murdered. Wow. Oh, God, dude.
He's up.
He's up. All right. He looked like he was holding his arm or something.
I mean, this is a guy that's knee exploded on a non-contact injury. So, my God. God, that's brutal.
Like a Christmas tree, dude. Holy shit.
That is brutal.
Dude, the Rams are bringing some defensive prowess.
Look at 52. Is that Clay?
Yep. Oh, yeah, dude. Come on. God, Clay's still got some gas.
He's still got some horse steroids flowing through him. That dude's yoked as ever.
Those damn Matthews kids. But
he was 200 pounds when he played at USC, and he was in Green Bay at just 265, 4% body fat. He's it's a little protein shake.
Yep, flag down. But anyway, what were we saying? We were talking about we got sidetracked actually watching
Scam Newton and the.
Well, we were talking about oh fuck.
We're talking about the Denver defense and shutting Cam down. I mean, 24-10, they got a late score. I mean, 3 points at halftime.
And I hate how distracted I can get by football. It's crazy. It's different.
I know, but dude, that's serious because if Bridgewater goes down, is it Taysom Hill?
Yep, probably. There's no way that what's his name, Luke. God, what was their backup forever? It was a brother of somebody. I'm trying to think of who it was.
Oh, McCown?
Yeah, Luke McCown. There you go.
No. It's got to be Taysom.
Luke McCown got traded somewhere after the Saints and then just got destroyed.
I feel like there's been 11 McCown brothers, but I think there's just two of them. They just both always get traded. Well, this is going to be short field position.
Josh has been
pretty much starting this in the red zone right here.
Pretty much. Josh McCown has just been around for so long. I think that's probably why you feel that way.
Hey, but if you're making like $1.5 to $2 million a year as a backup for
no
a
problem.
decade,
Yeah,
you're a genius because you have probably not many concussions or CTE issues to worry about longevity-wise. You're not getting beat up too much because you're getting treated like a QB in practice. You're not really playing, and you're just collecting, $100,000 a game.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all.
It was a great return. Way to catch it in stride.
Yeah, it's a good read too.
Man, this is going to be tough for the Saints to climb out of this hole because if they go down, they got to really hold them to a field goal here because they go down 20-6. It's going to be hard for Bridgewater to bring them back from 2 scores. And
yeah, they haven't gotten anything going offensively at all.
No, because every time they give it to Kamara, it's 8 men.
I just remember what we were talking about that got us sidetracked. So the stadium thing, right? So we were talking about the stadium thing and Jerry and all that, right? So the thing that kills me about the one in the stadium in Santa Clara is that, like, so first of all, like, real estate in California is just, it's absurd. It really is, because there's so much space, but there's so little buildable space that everything is just jam-packed in. And so, like, you're in the middle of, like, Silicon Valley pretty much. Like,
right.
Santa Clara is...
So where is Santa Clara? Is that south of San Francisco, north of San Jose?
South of San Francisco, north of San Jose. It's just adjacent to, like, what is known as Silicon Valley specifically.
Okay.
So, like, Silicon Valley is, like, Sunnyvale type area, right around that area. So this is just a little bit north of that, just a tad.
Okay.
And, but the problem is, whenever they designed it, they can't hold Monday Night Football there because the way the parking works, they utilize businesses and stuff like that around, which is a great idea, except for whenever you're having Monday Night Football on the West Coast, whenever
people are working and they're like, "Oh, hey guys, we're kicking off. Can we not park here?"
Yeah, just imagine like you trying to leave the office and like a football stadium type crowd's trying to come in and park.
There's absolutely nothing at this point in my life that attracts me to living in California when I hear just the horror stories of
things like that.
Yeah, I get the weather's great, but if you have to pay $2 million for a house and you have to sit in traffic all the time, it's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you get pretty used to it. I mean, the weather's. I mean, dude, to take
you get used to it, but I don't know if I want to get used to that.
To take a page out of your book, the weather's great.
God damn it,
the weather's great. But no, I think too, like, it's one of those things you really, really have to do the things that are there. Like, you can't put your head down and work all the time, which is what's required to be able to afford to live in California.
Right.
And not go out and do the things that California has to offer. Otherwise, you're really going to hate it. You really are. The great Sambino can tell you about that. He fucking hated living there because he worked and worked and worked the whole time and didn't.
Just to make ends meet.
Just to make it. Yeah, he went to grad school out there and stuff. And so, like, he can't. He can't ever wrap his head around having fun in California because of that. But
Texas is a good blend of amenities and cost of living.
Definitely.
There we go. Got first and goal here at 3.
Yep, pretty good.
Goff's actually settled into this game pretty well.
He has. He was looking really rusty at the beginning, though. But yeah, man. So it's things like that. Like, that's a great representation. Like, the parking thing is a great representation of California in general, because they have these great ideas and they try to do all of them, and they never do any of them properly. And it's like, if you would just stop trying to do every idea and just do every third idea and do it right.
Hold on 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm about to whoop my dog. He just stole.
All right, and we're back. Kyle has stole a candy bar from his dog. We're good.
Well, he stole it from me, technically. I was just getting it back. I don't think I'm going to eat it now, but I wanted to make sure he didn't finish it.
Yeah, that's fair. It's totally fair. Yeah, so we got a touchdown here, right? We were close.
Yeah, I think we
were close.
Like I said, we might be behind you guys. We got about a minute 12 on the I'm a minute 12 on the game clock, but yeah, we're right at the half-yard line or so.
I'm a minute 18.
Oh, no. We're still on the 1.5.
Yeah, we're good. But yeah, man, it's a hell of a place to live and just experience in general. I mean,
wow, what
a play call.
I mean, that was into a window, man.
Wow, boy, I've seen that backfire on a team before.
Dude, Brandon Cooks, maybe the most just disrespected player in the NFL. Like, everyone just trades him, and he he performs. I mean, like
Yeah.
Patriots traded a first rounder for him.
It was
Came in,
smart,
did
dude.
well. Thank you, sir, for the Super Bowl. We'll see you later.
They knew that they weren't going to re-sign him, so it made sense to do it
Right,
that way.
right. They knew somebody else would pay him more, but like he wasn't a great Patriot, but he was pretty
He's
good.
fine. Yeah, he reminded me a lot of like the Brandon Lloyd type player, where it's like he's a role player.
Deion Branch.
Gets it done. Yeah, exactly. I love Deion Branch, man.
Dude, he's been on a lot of those teams because he came back.
Right. Dude, yeah, the Saints are in trouble in this game. But I mean, when Drew Brees went down, I don't know what we really expected. The drop off from Drew Brees to Teddy Bridgewater, while I like Teddy Bridgewater a lot, is still acknowledgeable.
Pretty big drop off.
Yeah.
Solid backup, but I mean, this kind of begs the question. You probably think, okay, let's say worst case scenario, Drew's hand is his thumb's broken.
Yeah. It didn't look broken though.
Let's say it is broken though. How many games you out? 4?
4 probably. Yeah. What's their schedule like? Let's take a look at that.
If he has a severe sprain, I'm gonna say it's probably 2 weeks.
Yeah, probably.
I know they play the Cowboys in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, that could be a really good thing.
That's
for
the
you
Cowboys'
guys.
first test, and I want to see where we're at. And I thought New Orleans would be the test for them, but if he's not playing, I mean that we've got the freaking Dolphins next week. We could be 4-0 if we're going against Teddy Bridgewater.
So they've got
Seattle.
They've got
next week.
at Seattle, then they've got the Cowboys, then they've got the Bucks, the Jags, the Bears.
Bucks, Jags, you get a little break right there because with Foles out,
you don't need him back until that Bears game probably. And
yeah.
Even then, dude,
this is a pretty soft schedule.
It is
at the back end, especially. I mean, you got to go finish the year: Bucks, Panthers, Falcons, Niners, Colts, Titans, Panthers. Like
overall, that's a pretty good year. But dude, have you looked at the Patriots schedule?
No, it just cake?
Dude, look at their schedule and tell me that you don't agree with me on the fact that they could very well go undefeated.
Okay. Well, don't they do play, as Jason pointed out on PC, they do play week 14 or 15 against the Chiefs.
Yeah, something like that.
That's the losable game, right? Like if Mahomes just goes nuts, that's a very losable game.
Dude, that Patriots defense, I told you guys at the beginning of the year, it is no fucking joke.
No, but I don't know. Holy shit. Yeah, so y'all got
this is what I'm talking about. Like the schedule
Jets,
is so soft.
Bills, Redskins, Giants. Your next 4 definitely wins there.
That's what
Jets
I'm talking about.
Win, Browns win. Okay. So I found y'all own the Texans, so I'm not worried about that. There's 4 potential losses.
And even then, I don't know that they're that likely.
So at Baltimore, I think Bill Belichick will scheme too well for Lamar Jackson, but it's a rowdy crowd. I think they're fine there. I think these other 3 are the more likely ones. At Philly, depending on Philly's health, could be a tough game.
Not concerned, I don't think.
Okay.
I think that Bill Belichick can game plan for Carson.
You're not going to say not concerned in all of these, but I mean, from what we saw out of Philly last week, and I don't know, man. I just feel like
again, I mean, I know that the Patriots played abysmal teams.
Good run by Kamara.
Dude, the helmet popping off was wild. I know that they played abysmal teams, but allowing 3 points and scoring 57 on or something like 70.
I don't learn anything from that.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't learn shit from it, but what it does tell me is that the pieces are already clicking.
There you go, Teddy. Use them legs. Yeah, that's true. Oh, coming back.
I'm more.
Are you worried about the thanks? Is that Thanksgiving Day?
Which game? Eagles?
No, that is the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, no, the Cowboys play on Thanksgiving. The Patriots don't play till Sunday.
The Cowboys and the Patriots play each other on 11/24.
Oh, that's right. They play in Foxborough. No, I'm not concerned about that whatsoever. Because it's in Foxborough more than anything else.
Bad call. Dude, Cowboys don't have a home field advantage.
It's in Foxborough.
No, that's what I'm saying, but it wouldn't matter if it was in Dallas to me. They don't have a home field advantage.
Well, that's Dallas's problem, not the Patriots' problem.
I guess that's true. Dallas travels fine, though, I guess is my point. We've actually had a better away record than home record over the last 3 years.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
very Dallas thing.
Yeah.
The Chiefs is the most losable. I would say Cowboys and at Eagles. Like I'm looking at the schedule. I'm trying to find something for you.
I'm with you, dude. I know. Like I've been trying for weeks, trying to look at it realistically.
15-1 is really conceivable. I don't know if they'll go 16-0 because I think if they're 15-0, they'll just fucking lose that game to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
That way, maybe the Dolphins don't get like the first round pick. Like it's just some serious,
Dude, I don't think the Dolphins are going to let that happen, though. I really don't.
I think the Dolphins are we're going to see true. We haven't really seen tanking in the NFL to the degree that we've seen it with the Suns and the Sixers and the NBA.
Agreed.
You think this is the first year of that?
Absolutely.
It looks like it.
They pretty much said so.
Like I know y'all could have scored 3 fucking points today. Y'all could have got a field goal in the second half if you really wanted to, right?
Yeah, I would hope so.
God.
But I don't. I say that more. It's not as much about whether like my faith in the Patriots in this situation as it is in just the soft ass schedule.
Sure.
And that's a softer schedule than they've had in several years.
Right.
So I don't know, man. I all I'm saying is it's very conceivable, and I think people are overlooking that fact. That's all I'm saying.
It's fair.
We'll see, though, man. I think that a little rivalry for the podcast will be a lot of fun, though, for whenever we have.
Yeah, I want the Cowboys. I mean, nothing would be better for you or for I, or just for that show, than if the Cowboys and Patriots somehow meet each other at the end of the year. But I give the Patriots about a 75. I'll give them about a 60% chance of being in the Super Bowl and winning the AFC, where I give Dallas probably of winning the NFC, just getting there, maybe a 12 to 15% chance.
Yeah.
They're one of the 4 best teams in the NFC. I think that's fair.
That I agree with. Yeah, I give the Patriots like a 60 to 70% chance.
I don't know where the NFC teams stack up for me just yet, because going into this game, I would put Saints and Rams both above Dallas. But I don't know. Based on what I'm seeing here, I think Saints, Rams, Dallas, Philly. I'll still give the love to Chicago, maybe even Green Bay. Maybe Minnesota. I think a lot of these teams are pretty close. Like I don't think there's like the AFC is just like Patriots, Chiefs, whoever you want to say is the third team. There's a huge gap.
Can we stop talking about Minnesota like they're worth a shit?
Dude.
Because they're just
Their
not.
defense is so good.
I know. It's been good for a long time. But defenses don't win games for the most part in the NFL over the longer period of time.
That's not true. Defense still wins championships, and we saw it.
I'm talking about the longer period of time. I'm not talking about championships because we just won one that way.
Okay. Can Kirk Cousins be a Super Bowl winning quarterback is the question.
Absolutely not.
You would have said that about Trent Dilfer or Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Joe Flacco less so. More so. However that looks. I don't know.
Kirk Cousins is better than both those guys, even though I don't think Kirk Cousins is great.
Is there better than Joe Flacco?
Yeah.
I hate Joe Flacco, so this is saying a lot.
Yeah, I think he is. I don't know.
Dude, Joe Flacco looks bad in Denver. That was a mistake.
Have they scored?
No, they've only scored 2 field goals.
Or they had a passing touchdown this year?
They have not. This is classic John Elway, dude. That guy might be the worst quarterback talent evaluator I've ever seen.
Brock. Gotta love Brock, man.
Dude, Jason's all about Brocktober. All about it.
He's just like saying it. He doesn't really believe that.
I hope not.
God almighty, man.
Oh, boy. Mahomes
went nuts, dude. 383 and 4 TDs. They got the ball, and there's still 12 minutes left.
He's had a couple. He had a rushing touchdown too, right?
Did he? God almighty. No, he has 4 passing TDs. Okay. They only have 4 touchdowns, but still, I mean, the guy is just going to put up like everybody was like thinking his touchdown numbers were going to drop off this year because he had 50 last year. You know what his over under in Vegas was?
What's that?
35.5.
I would have taken over on that all day long.
How are you not over that?
Yeah, I would have taken over on that all day long.
I mean, that's just a little over 2 a game. And I'm like, if I see this guy going against me in fantasy, I'm just like, I'll settle for 3. If he goes for 3, I feel comfortable.
We said it this week too. Like what it comes down to, you give me Mahomes and Andy Reid versus Belichick and Tom Brady. Come on. Like, what are we talking about? Andy Reid is the biggest choke artist of all time.
That's the issue.
Yeah. Definitely. But I still would take Tom Brady any day of the week because this is exactly like the Golden State thing. We've talked about this a million times. Why pick against him? Why? Why do it? It never matters. It never works. Oh, let's go.
What just happened there? Did everyone just like let him run by?
Dude, everybody. Oh, God.
Is he hurt? Damn,
Dude,
man,
he just
everyone's getting
trucked
hurt.
like 5 people right there.
Dude, Traquan Smith is fast though. Watch him just. Doot.
Yep. Dude,
Okay, that was bad though. That was terrible ankles by those
Yeah.
players.
Really was.
Like that was Big 12 like.
It's like they didn't think he was actually going to catch the ball. But
That's crazy. Aaron Donald hit him though.
But give me experience for Tom and all that all day long in a big situation, dude. I just
So
think.
The reason they lost last year was because of D Ford and a little bit because of Andy Reid. It was 0% Pat Mahomes' fault. Pat Mahomes balled in that game.
Sure didn't matter.
And y'all had a hell of a defense.
Yep. But I mean, like,
dude. But if D Ford doesn't line up off sides, you lose to that team. And Mahomes is only getting better. So I don't.
But
and
guess
I think
what?
y'all
Like,
got better this year too.
But look at 28-3 Super Bowl, nearly lost that. Look at the Seahawks Super Bowl, nearly lost that. All that stuff breaks the right way at the right time, and that matters. And
agreed. And I'm not. D Ford was offsides, so y'all fucking move on. What I'm saying is, for this year, I wouldn't just like. I would be cautious of that Chiefs team.
Yeah, not concerned. Dude, I think
God,
the best
I
thing.
hate it. I hate it.
I know.
Because
I was just gonna say.
Arrogance just drives me crazy. It's just like I want you to just be like, yeah, I guess so. Good point.
No, I don't get me wrong. Of any
Wake
teams
me up
on
in
that,
December.
if any teams on that schedule, that's probably the most concerning. But I'm not even that concerned because I mean,
behind that Thanksgiving game and those Dallas Cowboys.
You trust true. You trust what works, right? And like it's. Like you texted me earlier, and you're like, "I fucking hate that I have to sweat out every game." And you wake up in December, look up, it's 12-4, and it's time to start the season. I
hate it, dude. I hate it.
I do, but
I'm a nervous wreck watching Cowboys games.
But I mean, that's my point, though. Is like it. Why bet against that thing until they've proven you otherwise? And it's the exact same thing with Golden State and everything else. We talked about that. I know what I know to be true, and like I don't. Like, dude, it's so funny. Like, we've learned that so much about doing all this stuff, like pods and all that. You can talk yourself into literally anything.
Or have one of you guys talking into something.
Yeah, or exactly. Or that, too. Like, we have to be really careful what we tell each other. We really do. And, like, I feel like we can really find rhyme or reason for why the Panthers should be 2-0, but they're not. They're just not.
Oh, well, Jason's going to just die on that hill.
Oh, yeah. No, well, we're not finding a reason, but.
Yeah, they're going to be 1-5 in week 6. He's going to be like, all right, here we go. 10-0 in the next 10 games.
The one thing that I don't understand, and I wish that I had more perspective on this, but like, and I guess maybe this argument could be made for Cowboys fans, but I personally don't necessarily think so. But like, I always have a hard time understanding people like they're like Bucks fans that are just so diehard Bucks fans that they don't see the writing on the wall. The fact that they're going to go 7-9 at very, very best, and just that are so.
I'm
oh my
listening
god,
to you.
oh,
that was Traquan might be seriously
great.
injured. Yeah, I think about that sometimes too because, I mean, the Mavs had a few dark years here the last few years.
But those were intentional. Like if you were actually paying attention, you knew what they were doing.
Like all my teams are usually relatively competitive. They never win anything, but I don't know what it's like to just be like you said, a Bucks fan or, in the NBA, like a Suns fan
or like
or
a
something.
Colts fan is a great example, dude. I feel the worst.
Colts fan?
I feel the worst for Colts fans given what Andrew Luck just did to the team.
Yeah, Chargers have had it rough too, where it's like we have all this talent, but we just never get it done. But you're saying just like the Bucks, just that talent is not going to get you more than 6 or 7 wins.
Correct. But I mean, at this at this juncture for them, like, what's the worst situation? You're bad. Jameis walks. You get a first round, probably a first, second, third pick, something like that, and you move on. Like, they've got a lot of talent on that.
You got to go QB because Godwin and Evans are talented guys.
Yeah, dude. And Jameis is just not a football guy. He's not.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, I used to defend him as a good leader and everything like that.
Yeah, bullshit.
I don't know about all that now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's proven over time what he is and what he isn't. But he's made some very odd character decisions in my book, and the fact
very good chance Tampa Bay is going to be tied for division lead after today.
True. The very fact that people thought that Bruce Arians was going to go in there and turn it all around is just absurd, though.
I thought it would help the offense.
Definitely.
I didn't think it would help the win-loss or the culture all that much, but I thought, and I guess it looked a little better this week, but
it definitely did.
Jameis just tries to throw it to the other team. So, I mean, he had drop picks this week.
He sure did. I mean, Cam Newton helped him out there. And not to say that Cam was bad. Cam's just hurt, dude. That's all that comes down to is he's hurt.
Yep. Dude, Kamara just threw up his hands like, what the hell after that 2nd and 13 play, and it's like, Hey, dude. I mean, I know you've only played with Drew Brees, but
Yeah, I mean, come on. Let's not turn our backs on the team all of a sudden. What do
yeah,
you?
he's super frustrated right there. But look, hey, they're about to show it. I mean, there's a lot of guys in one-on-one. You got to make one of those throws.
One of them. So here's a big question for you. How do you feel about the Steelers being 0-2? Because you guys were really high on that pick, and they did not.
No, Jason was. I took Cleveland to win the division with you.
But did you take Seattle, though, to win that game this past week?
No, I took Pittsburgh to win at home.
I
said I wouldn't touch the line because I thought it'd be a close one. But yeah, I did take them. I thought they'd bounce back and win, but not a good team.
Not a good team. Not a good team at all, really. And they just
Ben got hurt, so what's his name, came in as a backup today, and actually was pretty competitive and made some good plays. But I mean, if it's God, what's his name, from Mason Rudolph from Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
dude's got a cannon, but I mean, I don't know.
Not Big Ben.
What do you think of the field goal attempt here? So you make it 20-9. I guess, yeah. I mean, if it was like 4th and 2, it'd be a little different. That's 4th and long.
Dude, I started following this Twitter account this last week called the Surrender Index, and basically they measure the sadness of punts, and like how sad it is, and the percentile of sad punts is the when you punt it away based on how defeated you are. And it's called Surrender_Index, and you can also follow. They have like a tangential account that's like the top 90 percentile, so you're not getting every single bad punt because there's some bad punts, but some of them are like in the 1 percentile, so it's like it's not a big deal.
There's got to be a lot of those punts from college. Sometimes
these are all
college
NFL,
punts go 18 freaking yards.
These are all NFL though, and it's not the actual punt itself, it's the situation in which they decide.
Got you.
Yeah. So it's like, you're down. So like that kind of brought this to mind. 'Cause it's like you're down by 2 scores.
Yeah, and you could do one for field goals too, because I mean, if you look at it last week, remember when it was 17-3?
No, it was Tomlin.
20-0, 20-0.
And he just won,
and to make it 20-3, and it's like you're on the 5-yard line. Go for it, dude. Yeah.
Like he didn't want to get shut out by Belichick. That's what it was.
Opportunity to get yourself in the game, get some momentum. Like a field goal is almost more deflating.
Bad coaching.
Bad coaching. I don't know. I guess you got to take the field goal there because it's 20-9 now, and there's still 11 minutes left in the game.
You're not scoring on offense, so you got to take
4th and long.
Yeah, you got to take the points where you can get them. You're not scoring on offense anyway.
Yeah, and I guess if you get a stop and another field goal, that puts you at 12. So now you're a point. I get the strategy there, but not looking optimistic for the New Orleans Saints.
No, or my +3, but that's strategy. That's for sure.
Yeah, the +3 is a little tough right now. But if they get a touchdown, they're gonna go for 2.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, it's Sean.
So if they can get you to 2017, you'd be feeling like, okay, well, I mean, push isn't certainly the worst thing that could happen, as we've learned.
I'll take it. Yeah, but I just like of the games today, the other pick that I kind of gave out that everyone thought I was crazy was the 49ers, and you shit on Jimmy G a lot. He looked really good today.
Shit hard on Jimmy G, and I was eating crow today.
Yeah, he looked really good.
I mean, like, let's calm down. It is against the Bengals, right?
That's the potential that's there, is my point. I'm saying I don't know that it's there, and it's like, look at I was thinking about who to compare this to earlier.
I think Jimmy G over Dak. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
no, I wouldn't. I actually wouldn't.
I bet you that Sans injury and all that, if you put them in the same system, you'd probably have pretty similar results.
Yeah,
maybe a little.
That
little
injury
better, not by much.
Versus Dak, who's just built like a freaking tank.
I get why the stereotype is what he is, because like it's all we've heard about is Jimmy Garoppolo for years. But like, I mean, I don't really know if it wasn't his fault that he tore an ACL as soon as he got to San Fran and all that. But
no, but this is the first time I've seen him play well in a game where Bill Belichick wasn't in his ear.
Definitely. And even then, when
I
Belichick
needed to
was
see
in
that,
his ear, he wasn't always up to snuff.
No, like I needed to see that though. I think that's fair to want to see that.
I think what your point has been is that he's just as likely to be Ryan Mallett as he is Tom Brady kind of situation.
100%.
And I mean,
Ryan Mallett.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, the Texans was one of the worst places he could have gone, Ryan Mallett. But even so, I think the Patriots knew what they had and didn't have in him.
Right.
He just
Dude,
was,
Malcolm Brown, UT alum, is running really hard in this game.
Yeah, he
Set some
is.
good runs.
trying to preserve Gurley a little bit, I guess.
That's a big dude playing running back, man.
Yeah, he is. He's got a lot of upper body
He's
strength.
240.
Wow.
That's
Really?
what they list him at. Yeah.
Interesting. He doesn't
Pull
look
that up and
240.
look. But yeah, dude, this Bear, I'm looking at the Bears and
Broncos
game cast and the stats. It's like, God, I'm glad that's not the game that's on TV.
No kidding. Dude, the Bears are really befuddling. Like another, I mean, they're going to win this game, I think, because Joe Flacco. But, like, at the end of the day, like, you got to wonder if Mitch Trubisky's that guy. And I mean, there's a reason that he fell or that he was where he was, and I will never understand why they reached for him.
You said you like Trubisky more than Dak.
Did I?
Mm-hmm. It was him, Wentz. So I said choose between or rank Wentz, Trubisky, and Dak.
That's right.
And I said Wentz, Dak, Trubisky.
That's
and you
right.
said Trubisky, Dak, Wentz.
Right.
Carson Wentz is definitely better than Mitch Trubisky.
So far, that's for sure. I don't know how much. I need to really look at
228 on Malcolm Brown.
Okay.
Still a big boy.
Yeah, still a big boy. I'll have to look at the tape a little bit and find out more because I can't decide if it's Matt Nagy's play calling, which was extremely suspect in the first game.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's that or as much as Trubisky, but yeah.
As much as a snooze fest as this is, them getting a win today will be huge.
It'll be big, yeah. And they need it for sure.
All right, so that was 2nd and 12, about a 10-yard play. So we're looking at about a 3rd and 2 here. I know there's 9.5 minutes left in the game, 3rd and 3, but this is a big point right here.
Yeah, it is.
It's a big play. Get a 3 and out, get the ball back in Teddy's hands. He's going to need a few possessions to get 12 points on the board.
Yeah, and I mean they haven't gotten a thing going on offense yet. So
they did on that last drive, but that was pretty much just all in that Traquan Smith play.
Right. For sure, man.
Why does every NFL team just have some random guy that's clearly not a coach with like gear on that's just like bald and jacked as hell?
I don't know. And he's always amped up to the 9, dude.
It's the strength and conditioning
Let's
coach.
go.
Oh my God.
Burned.
Oh wow, it's TD.
That's over. Yep.
Oh.
All right. Back to Cooper Kupp versus Ray Woods.
Well, that was a pretty damn good run. I'll
Yeah, it
give
was.
Cup that.
Yeah, dude, I'm not saying he's bad by any means. I like
playing against him in like
I
3
like
leagues.
what I've seen enough out of Ray Woods to as a more of a body of work thing than anything else.
Okay. Is that the nail in the coffin?
Yeah, for sure. This game's over with.
I think so.
It's a shame. It's very much a shame. Also, how are they still playing in this place? The Coliseum is just a shithole, dude. For an NFL team,
everything you just described about the Santa Clara situation is probably even just amplified in LA, right?
oh yeah. Well, at least they're building the SoFi Center, I guess is what they decide to call it today.
Yeah, I saw that. And but that's not going to be till what, 20
Another
Sorry,
year.
I got a back issue going on here. 20 what?
Another year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was 2 years. I thought it was 2021.
Well, after this year, then you've got another year.
Okay.
It may be 2021. I thought it was 2020.
I think it's 2021, 2022 season. So
Okay.
not this season, not next, but the one after that.
Okay. Oh,
But that thing looks sick. We've already talked about it.
and I think I might be thinking of the Raiders because they're going to be done next year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, that place looks sick right off the strip too. It's on the
Dude.
other side of the highway, but it's pretty awesome.
That's the best thing for them. Dude,
I
real
can't
quick,
wait.
I'm winning 164-33 in fantasy right now.
Jesus Christ.
This guy, not great. He had to start Drew Brees minus 1.4.
Oh boy, yeah, that's rough, dude. But that's
Mike Evans at 10 points was his highest score.
oh my god, that is rough.
Yeah.
That is definitely rough. I think it's awesome what having an NFL team in Vegas is going to do for all of it. I really think it's going to be a situation where in 5 years from now we're going to be live betting all the time on games. And it's going to be perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, I think it's going to come to be where it's legalized in every state and they just go federal with it.
You can't deny the revenue. You just can't.
Yeah. There's a few other issues I feel similarly about, but I think
sure.
once all the states get aligned that that federal government will as well, and they're just going to see how much money can be made off of this.
Right.
You know,
Because I love nothing more than sitting in a Vegas sports book watching games all day and, chilling, man.
it drives my fiance crazy. And like
Same.
my friends want to go to Vegas. It's like, dude, I'm not going to go drink till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
in the club because I need to be up at 7:30,
Get the bets in.
7:15, hit up the buffet,
Yep.
and then get to the 8 a.m. sports book open, and then I'll know everyone everyone at the sportsbook is going to know me by name. I probably won't step out of there very often. Maybe
Right.
a little blackjack here and there, but
dude, I was in there. I was watching I was out there 2 Novembers ago, and I was watching like Ohio State. I was watching an Ohio State game, and I'd bet on Ohio State, I think.
Okay.
And this one dude had gotten this guy came and like sat down next to me, homeless guy for sure, and like went up there and bought a $5 ticket so he could sit there all day long, and was just like killing like Four Locos next to me, and like was like
he's about to just act insane,
right? And he was like cheering on. Oh, I'm trying to remember how this happened. He was cheering on Ohio State, but then he showed me his ticket and he had money line the other side. And I was like, and so he's like trying to talk to me, yelling and going on and all this. And I'm like, dude, first of all, you bet the other side. So fuck off. Number one. Number two, like, I don't want to talk to you. So I'm like literally sitting in like a hoodie, just like, like trying to deal with my life, hungover as hell, tired.
Well, it's just like it's like sportsbook etiquette. Like when
Right.
you can tell somebody's been going through some shit, you can guess that they probably not cashed too many tickets today, so leave them alone.
Right.
I mean,
Just leave me alone.
with all the Four Locos flowing, they're
yeah, things are getting wild.
bad decisions may be made. I think they're going to call us down at the half-yard line.
I think
Take away my Jared Goff TD. Perfect.
Well done.
Thanks, refs. This is how the Saints felt last year.
Yep. Here we are again.
Dude, I can't believe this freaking Mark Andrews was available on the waiver wire. So this Baltimore tight end, he's a rookie from OU, hell of a tight end at OU. Josh will talk.
Yep.
Really go on and on about him, but he had eight catches and 100 yards and a touchdown in both of his first 2 games.
That's
pretty good. And I mean, that's not in necessarily what we consider a high power offense, but maybe we're going to start looking at Baltimore like a high powered offense.
I mean, they definitely have the firepower. That's for sure.
Well, Lamar can throw a ball now. Like, it's clear that dude put in work in the offseason, and he's got a really good report. Oh, here we go. Take away Jared Goff's touchdown, and let's just vulture it, and let's just Jared Goff, we get a little rush touchdown. Let me not talk shit. There we go. Nice. Jared Goff. Oh, I thought he was going to jump over the wall. It's going to be – that's pretty funny. I love how, like, the city of LA has just embraced the Rams so much, and they're just like, fuck the Chargers.
Dude, yeah. Well,
what is up with that?
They just shouldn't have moved the Chargers in the first place. At the end of the day, they shouldn't have done that because
I mean, San Diego is a pretty big market. I understand it's not like the number one football market by any means, but
no, but dude, like the thing is, like people aren't from Los Angeles for the most part, so you don't have that. Like, so the few that do are Rams fans because the Rams have been there before, and so like, it's one of those things. Like, it doesn't. You're oversaturating a saturated market that doesn't really give a shit in the first place.
All the great fan bases, for the most part, specifically in the NFL, are cities where people are mostly from there or that region. Right?
Absolutely.
Boston.
Absolutely. Yes.
Pittsburgh. Green Bay.
Philly,
Dallas.
Chicago. Philly.
Baltimore. Chicago. Philly. Yep. So, I mean.
Jacksonville.
Yep.
I mean.
Maybe you're from there. They might be from there.
That's what I'm saying. If you're a diehard Jacksonville fan. Yeah. Stay the hell out otherwise, Blake Bortles, am I right?
God almighty, dude. Blake Bortles, Byron Leftwich. I don't know which situation they fucked up more. Yeah, so this Raiders-Chiefs is going to be a wrap, 28-10. Raiders get up, 10-0 at the beginning, and then reality sinks in.
It's pretty rough.
Broncos are driving. 2-minute warning. They're on Chicago's 33 with the 1st and 10, trying to tie it up.
Yeah, that's fair. Dude, the Patriots just ate lunch today.
We know they won 43-0. Goddamn.
They were just playing some highlights and stuff, of course. So Antonio Brown had 3 targets, 3 receptions, and 36 receiving yards today.
3 targets, 3 receptions?
Yep, 36.
And then the TD.
Yards. Yep, and then the TD. That's absurd.
Ooh, Big Ben to get MRI. He's probably going to miss some time.
Dude, he's got to be close to the end, right?
Yeah.
It's a good. Well, it's sad.
I'm feeling really good about these division picks against Jason.
Definitely, I never would have picked Pittsburgh, and yeah.
So let's recap where these are. We all 3 went Philly and Rams, which Philly and Dallas are going to be battling out. Rams I feel pretty good about. The North we had it you went Bears, he went Packers, I went Vikings.
Yeah.
He's probably looking best at that with Packers. I think there's definitely concerns with all three of those teams, though.
Well, the Bears are going to pull out a win today, and I mean, if they can figure out how to get it going, I don't know. I'm not writing the Bears off yet. As far as like, it was really hard not to overreact.
And I'm not writing the Vikings off, even though Kirk Cousins is their quarterback, to win the division at least because of how good the defense is and how Dalvin Cook looks.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost at Lambeau today by 5 points. That happens. Me and you picked Saints. He picked Panthers. I mean, if Breeze is out, not great, but I still like our position there a little bit more.
The other teams are garbage. I'm not worried about it.
Right. We all went New England, no brainer. That'll for sure happen as well. Me and you took KC. He took Chargers. Feel pretty good there.
I feel great about that bet. Or that pick.
Browns, he went Steelers. I don't feel great about either of those, but somehow I actually feel a little bit better about ours.
I feel like I bought into the Browns a little bit much. I think a lot of people did.
I mean, I had to come on and apologize to our listeners. We've actually been 5-1 on our SLM picks
pretty
thus
good,
far.
Dude. Pretty good.
No, wait, 6-1 because the Cowboys covered today, and I'm trying to remember.
Well, and I gave out the 49ers.
Oh yeah, that's 6-1, 7-1, and I'm trying to remember.
I gave out the Seahawks. So, but I think you guys picked against that. So I mean, that's.
Yeah. And I remember you, but you specifically liked the Seattle to win. You specifically said I would take the 49ers and the spread. Like you were that was like a official, like I would take that spread type of thing.
If you had to put, I wouldn't have put my money on Seattle necessarily, but I wouldn't have been surprised.
Trying to recall what Jason's picks were. And I mean, he made me give him some dogs. I took TCU, which was a win, but I took Vikings, which was a loss. But I'm just saying on our we're trying to each do one official prediction for college and pro.
Yeah, we're killing it.
And we're doing well. I'm trying to remember what his NFL pick was this week. I need to touch base with him on that. But we're doing pretty good. I think we're seeing it right.
We had a pretty bad cold streak during the NBA playoffs, and
it's due time because
just about every game wrong.
We talked about don't bet against it like the Patriots until proven differently. Well, unfortunately, the time we were proven differently on the Warriors, I was just eating shit the entire time.
I still felt pretty comfortable about the pick, man, because I mean, you got to go down with the ship if you're going to go with that kind of mentality.
It's just that's what would happen to me is like as soon as they're not playing LeBron and I actually want to put money on him, it's like, nah, screw this guy.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Because I didn't even think about that from your perspective of that like the past.
I would never bet on them against LeBron.
Oh, I bet on them every single year and cleaned up doing that.
As you should, but you're not going to go bet against the Patriots in a Super Bowl.
No, definitely not. I'm and that was my whole thing today. And I just my thing is, man, I'm very, very I follow that regiment if it's working, and I will go down with the ship if I have to. I'm fine with that.
Right.
And if I see greatness, I will continue to go with it because, I mean, regardless of what it is, you just got to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see another decade. Oh, shit. Michael Thomas is something. I'm trying to see your knees get hit like that. I feel like Michael Thomas is a really, really physical and tough receiver.
I agree with that.
Always searching for that contact. Yeah, but I don't think we're going to see another two-decade run like the Patriots have gone on with the way free agency works now. I just don't think that you're going to have a quarterback and a coach and a GM and owner in that all in the same position for 20 plus years. I just don't see it repeating itself.
It's going to be
6 Super Bowls in 20 years won't happen again.
No, definitely not.
Oh wow.
And I mean, if Brady ends up with more rings himself than any other franchise, I think that seals the deal.
I mean, if you don't think he's the greatest of all time, you're a hater.
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, no.
Montana, or some bullshit like that.
Dude, you should. I know you don't. I'm glad for you that you don't follow any kind of Boston media, but they kill Brady at every chance they get.
Why though?
Because it's the Max Kellerman thing. They want to be right whenever they say it, and they look like fucking more buffoons every single time.
Like they're like, this is it. He's too old.
Yep, pretty much. And it's like,
so
or
dumb.
My other thing, my favorite thing might be the Patriots way, because that
my least favorite player in the league is Marcus Peters. I'm just gonna say that right now. That guy talks so much shit.
He does, and doesn't back it up very well either.
No.
The Patriots way thing makes me laugh all the time because there is no such thing.
Right.
They asked Bill Belichick about that. He goes, I don't even know what that is. That's made up by you. Like, that's a fucking media thing. The Cardinals way is the same damn thing. I hate that. And it's like, okay, like we talked about it. We talked about this in multiple sports over multiple periods of time. It's not that hard. You stick to what you know and you make adjustments as you go. Like that's what the best coaches do in any sport. That's what the best teams do is they know how to make do with what they have. Unless you're named LeBron James, then you just put the whole team on your back. But that's besides the point. That's a different story, and that's another thing that we'll never probably see again.
Your relationship with LeBron is complicated.
It's incredibly complicated because I respect the hell out of him, but I also hate him too. So it's a real weird thing. Dude, Taysom Hill might just put this whole game on his back.
Yeah, did he catch? Oh, he didn't catch that. I like him though, man. He's just a hard ass.
Yeah, he is. But I don't understand why. Like, I just feel like it shreds your credibility when you sit there and just try to kill the guy over and over and over and over and over. And it's like that's not like you're witnessing the greatest like football playing of all time, and you just want it to be over. Like, why?
Right,
it's gonna be over at some point.
Where do you think Drew stacks all time?
He's gonna be up there, dude. He's got a lot of the
gotta be top 5,
stuff.
probably.
Yeah, definitely. He's got to be. Boy, doing top 10 quarterbacks of all time would be quite the task.
Yeah,
at least with the NBA,
it's like I mean, I did the top 10 for the top 10 blog, and it was really hard because it's like I know how everyone regards Johnny Unitas and Terry Bradshaw and Roger Staubach and you know.
I mean, like Johnny Unitas specifically, like the dude was playing in high tops.
I tried to go watch film, but it's like it's kind of hard there too. Right. Like you just had to look at numbers and things like that. But I tried to watch as much film as I could. But when I'm watching that old film, like, and people our parents' age don't like to hear it, dude. Those defenses are so damn slow.
So bad, dude. I mean, it's the equivalent of watching like Bill Russell play. I mean, it's like
56 rebounds is impressive. Those centers look like me.
Right.
They're like 6'1" plumbers.
Absolutely. So, I mean, at least in basketball, the top 10 is pretty solidified.
There's 15 guys that
go in and out.
That for sure you can interchange in the top 10.
Absolutely.
And there's like 7 guys that like there's 0% chance you could leave Michael, LeBron,
Wilt,
Bill Russell, Larry
Kareem.
Bird, or Magic out of your top 10.
Or Kareem.
Those 6 guys are all there. Kareem.
Yeah. No, I know. It's crazy.
All 7 of those guys are there.
Yeah. It's so. I mean, there's
pick whoever else you want.
We'll have to set out on that football journey at some point. I'm sure we'll probably do that in like I don't know. We'll figure out a time to do
I think running backs is a little easier, and I like that. I like running backs, and you know how I feel about Zeke, baby. He'll be there.
Oh God.
Give my man some time.
All right. Like, I guess I just don't know how you compare like Johnny Unitas, who played in high tops, to Drew Brees. You know what I mean? Like that is just. It feels like okay, you can make the argument about the 56 rebounds and all that being against absurd competition. It's the same kind of thing, but like you're talking about a quarterback who's just all around better. I mean, if Bill Russell came in the league today, he'd probably still average like I don't
10,
know. That's
12.
At least 12 to 15.
Yeah,
if not more than that. He's just a very specific type of player. Maybe not.
He might lead the league in rebounds.
Maybe not this specific league, but maybe 10 years ago or maybe 10 years.
But he couldn't play. He couldn't. Everyone raves about his defense because there was post game back then. He couldn't get on the court right now very well because, like, I mean, maybe he'd adjust his game, he'd get in better shape, but he would have a lot of trouble in those pick and rolls.
That's the hardest part, though, because we've been trying to do our top 10, 25 of all time in basketball. We're going to get close to that here pretty soon. But like, you really cannot compare the eras. You can't do it because it just like that.
Even like
it's not fair.
Like Shaq, early Kobe, early Duncan, you can't even compare that to now.
No.
Like those are 2 totally different eras.
Right. And
like
that
90s, early 2000s, dudes it was a physical game then.
That's why I really hate the MJ versus LeBron argument because it's a very different thing. It really
That's
is.
the thing, bro. Like if LeBron played in that era, he would have averaged less assists and a lot more points because it was all one-on-one and no helps. Like LeBron averaged 27 for his career with help, defense, and double pretty much the entire time. If he was getting hand checks. If Michael Jordan got around him, LeBron James is going to get around him. He's strong enough. He would have averaged 35 easily in a season, just like Jordan did. He would have just had less assists. Like they're not as different of players as people make them seem. It's just LeBron is a little bit more pass first, and because of the way the game's played now, it just allowed him to facilitate that part of his talent.
Correct. By the way, the Broncos just converted with 31 seconds left. 14-13
nice.
Bears. Or 14-13 Broncos, excuse me. That
Can we talk about how bad the Giants are too? Like, what do we do there?
Real quick, I mean, we're looking at maybe 0-2 for the Bears here. That's not a great start.
Not good.
Anyway, Giants, yeah, dude, bad. Just bad.
I don't get why Saquon's literally never had like more than 20 rushing attempts in a game. Like, they only gave him 18 attempts today. He had 107 yards. Give the man the ball. I guess they get behind pretty early though. Oh yeah, they did. They converted the 2-pointer. Royce Freeman's getting a lot of touches today. Damn, Flacco's thrown 50 passes. That's just inexcusable. Why is he throwing the ball 50 times?
Dude, because he's Joe Flacco.
What's Mitch Trubisky's box score look like? Ugh. 14 for 22. I mean, 63% is fine. It's not great. 90 yards, no picks, no touchdowns. God. 1 rush, 8 yards. That is terrible.
It's not a great day.
I got some concerns about the Bears if they lose this game with. I mean, I know going into Denver is tough at the beginning of the year from a conditioning standpoint, but I mean, Trubisky,
not good, dude. Not good.
He's gonna have less games through 2 yards than Pat Mahomes had through a quarter and a half today.
That is absurd.
Like,
that is absolutely
crazy.
Absurd. Yeah, dude. I never really was a big Mitch Trubisky believer, but I think I think he took a step forward. I think that this is the biggest fear is the step back.
He looked well. Yeah, he played well. He looked good last year.
Yeah, but I think this was the fear is the step back. And this is what we're looking at. And I think he thinks too much into it, man. I think he gets too much into his own head. I really do.
Could be part of it. I mean, yeah. And some guys can handle the psychology of that better than others.
Definitely.
Is that ball game?
Pretty much.
Okay. Chicago. So let me see here. I'm trying to get this game track pulled up. I mean, yeah, this one is a wrap, unfortunately, for us here, folks. Hopefully, we can see Drew Brees, back on the field in a few weeks. The league's always better with the top quarterbacks, and Drew's still that, at age 39 or 40. But it was a pretty rough hit. I mean, I think as soon as we both saw it, we were just like, ugh, it's not good. So,
I mean,
I do hope he comes back. I hope it's after the Dallas game, selfishly.
For sure.
Which 2 weeks it looks like it may be.
I haven't seen much about it. More will come out, I'm sure, in the next day or so. I'm sure he'll have an MRI done on it. But, I mean, all told, man, I would rather watch this game, though, or like I'd much rather watch a competitive game than I would like a 43-0 blowout. I really would. Like, it's
absolutely.
I'm glad that it was my team that was on the right side of that. But aside from that, wake me up in January.
Right. Ooh, so. Bradley Chubb with a roughing the passer penalty on Chicago's first play.
Not great.
So they're going to move that up. Wow.
Oh, not great.
Yeah, that's a second-year mistake there. I do like the Bradley Chubb Von Miller combo a lot.
It's an interesting 1-2 tandem, that's for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess with this being a wrap, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We're pretty close to the 2-minute warning. It's 27-9 Rams, so a little bit differently than we kind of anticipated this going. But the live stream's always a lot of fun, man. We parse through a whole lot.
Yeah, I know we always end up touching on all things sports, which is fun, just kind of venting because we have a little more, structure in the pod as we want to have. So this is fun to just kind of get on here and do what we do and talk sports. But
I'm definitely excited to do some more some of the live basketball watch stuff too this year, though. Like we've been talking about the first Clippers
opening night.
Yep, that's gonna be great. Like I mean, we can't not do that. We're gonna be doing a ton of these stuff. We're gonna be doing a bunch of the live streams during baseball playoffs and all that too. So everybody be looking forward to that. Hopefully you can jump on a little bit with us. That'd be a lot of fun. Dude,
yeah, maybe y'all can teach me who's in the league now. It's like still got Mark McGuire and Pedro Martinez in here. What's going on, boys?
Yeah, you'll pick it up pretty quick for sure. It's I will note though, this will be of interest to you just because we talk about valuations of franchises and stuff like that all the time. The Royals sold the other day for $1 billion.
Who? Marlins?
The Royals.
Oh, I was like, the Marlins sold from.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's a small market team, man. So like
it is a small market team. They have a recent World Series, correct?
2014.
Last 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Maybe 15. I don't know. One of those 2 years.
historically, decent.
Yeah.
That city cares a lot about that, so I think that's part of it, right? Like that revenue is going to keep flowing in there.
I mean, and George Brett is in the front office, and if
what do they look like right now, though? Like, what was their record this year?
Not good, but they're intentionally burning it down.
Okay.
So they weren't really intending on being good.
So where do you think that stacks up? Is that middle of the pack for MLB? That seems on the high end for MLB for me.
It's on the high end for sure. I think that's one of the first teams that are not like a Yankee. Well, it would be the Yankees, but like the Red Sox or something like that are not selling for.
What do you think the Rangers would sell for? A little more?
Probably a little bit more. With a brand new ballpark, probably a little bit more than that. Yeah.
And that's just a big market too. I mean,
Correct.
It's like a small big market, if that makes sense. That's how I look at Dallas.
Exactly. That's at least in baseball, that's for sure. So
even with like just in general, like Dallas is a small big market because you can't say it's a medium or a small market team at all.
Right. Yeah. It's very much in the middle.
Those.
Very much in the middle. So.
Like Mavs have a small market feel, but it's like, it's
they're on that verge for sure.
In the city, it's not like really a small market.
They're on that verge, but I mean, in terms of recruiting talent and all that, yeah, they're a small market team.
What's funny is San Antonio is a small market team, and it's like the 7th biggest city in the country.
And it's a fucking powerhouse.
It's weird how that works. I guess there's no other professional sports teams, and like once you get out of city limits, it's just fields for hundreds of miles. So
miles and miles. So. All right,
but yeah, we'll pick out our next live football one, and we're gonna get us a great game here one of these days.
We sure are.
Drew Brees doesn't get hurt or Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw up 10 points.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get a good one here. But regardless, we're gonna keep doing them. I think people like jumping in with us, and please send us your thoughts, chat in with us whenever we're doing them. Give us a call. That number, we have a voicemail that you can leave a voicemail. We'll answer any questions, talk, play them, anything like that. Number's 972-885-9361. Make sure to follow us all on social media as well. Sensibly Loud Media, at Sensibly Loud on Twitter and on Instagram. And we will see you guys later on this week.
Yep. Later, guys.